If we else, you're not drafted Tyree Wilson too.
Yeah, they might be. They very well might be. There is, at this point, and if you watch the betting markets, it's bearing itself out. Will Anderson is still the favorite to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Tyree Wilson's been closing on him all day. I put in a shekel or two yesterday at plus 500. It's all the way up to plus 225. And it's climbing every second of the day.
The odds have been shaken up by the leaking news that the Houston Texans may not even – they're not in on C.J. Stroud. They may not even be on Will Anderson.
No.
Tyree Wilson, that would be the biggest joke of the draft. That would be the biggest top-of-the-draft joke since Baker Mayfield got drafted number one.
I told you when you got here this morning, and I told you the story, I said I cannot remember a time where a team would do something so off the beaten path, and the only instance of it that I could remember was the Jacksonville Jaguars taking Tyson Alualu at 10 many years ago. And it was a bad class. And a lot of us had him as a third-round graded guy, and they took him at 10.
Yep.
That's the closest I could come to this. And then I heard what Cesario said about he's the Wolf of Wall Street, and I'm going nowhere. What is wrong with this franchise? Like, is there a hex on this team?
Maybe. I mean, it's just stupidity at the top.
Well, it's hard to understand. There are times, and look, I'm not telling you I don't like Tyree Wilson because I do. Now, you take him ahead of Will Anderson, and you damn well better hope you're right, because if you're not, we will make fun of you for the rest of your life. Because it's possible that you're passing up, and you know I don't love comps, but
Khalil Mack.
It's possible. I've never seen Khalil Mack. I'm more Von Miller.
Okay, Von Miller. I get it. I see that.
Again, potato. It's possible that you're bypassing Von Miller for Deion Jordan. That's what you could be doing here.
It screams Houston.
Well, and then it would not be that. It would be weird regardless. Then you take in all these rumors, and I've heard a lot of it, that Nick Cesario is going to be gone after the draft. Okay. Now, here's my problem with that. We've talked about this being a possibility with the Denver Broncos, that George Payton could be gone. Sean Payton could want to put in his own guy.
Yep.
Okay. Sean Payton's in the building. Sean Payton's the one making the draft selections. Nick Cesario hired this entire front office. These are all his guys. And if you think they're turning D'Amico Ryans loose to make these picks, I got a bridge to sell you.
You're not giving that kind of responsibility to a first-year head coach.
So you asked me when I told you that what I had heard about George Payton, that maybe Sean Payton's going to put his own guy in there and he could be gone. You said, is that a big deal? And I said, no, because Sean Payton's the one that's pulling he's pulling all the strings here. He was given carte blanche with the Denver Broncos.
Right.
There's nobody in the building. There's nobody here. Unless it's the ownership group and the McNairs are doing this, and I'm not going to lie to you, it would be very out of character. There are some ownership groups around the league that, okay, they start putting their hands in it. This is not one of them. And it's just led me down this path of, are you even an NFL franchise at this point?
Yeah. I mean, better than Arizona, apparently.
I'm not so sure of that. I think those two are very 1A, 1B. That's just where you're at. Because, and I could get down with we don't want to take a quarterback. You're not sold on one. I don't want to take one at 2. Okay. There are warts with Stroud, Levis, and Richardson. So you can get me there. To bypass Will Anderson and take Tyree Wilson with a GM that I think has one foot in the grave and one foot on a banana peel.
Which is why, to me, the number 2 pick has to be up for sale.
Oh, they've tried.
The question is,
they've called every team in the top 10.
And nobody wants it?
Nobody wants it because they're calling their bluff. And see, that's the game that we always play here. Who wants you to know that? Okay. I'm officially at the point of I don't know who wants you to know that. Because if you're Houston and you're trying to get out, why would you tell teams that you're taking a guy they don't want?
Right. It does nothing for me.
His high spot to me was 6. That was the highest he could have gone.
Or 5. You've had him at 5 to the Seattle Seahawks for a while.
I'm getting warmer and cozier to they may take Jalen Carter.
Mm-hmm.
They may just say, you know what?
You may have your warts, but we'll take our chances. I get it. It makes sense to me. But the Houston Texans, when I say it's all just stupidity at the top, it never stops being a joke. I mean, even when you were good and you were making the playoffs every year, you still had Bill O'Brien, who was good to a point.
He was good as a coach. He was a terrible person.
Right, but then you gave him all the GM powers, and he started doing questionable things, and then the DeAndre Hopkins thing, and that started the snowball into what we have now with Deshaun Watson being gone and all of that. They can't get out of their own way, because then after Bill O'Brien, then they turn to, the New England Patriots.
So I'm going to ask you a question. How many players on this roster do you feel like are entrenched?
I would say
average NFL team is 15 at minimum.
Yeah, I would say off the top of my head probably 8. I might be stretching.
I challenge. Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. Well,
you get to 8, you're getting real cute.
You got Laramie Tunsil.
Mm-hmm.
You have Dameon Pierce.
Oh, he's a running back.
Yeah. You have
Jalen Petrie,
Derek Stingley.
See how it gets real thin after that?
Kenyon Greene, I guess, that you just drafted last year.
And was awful. How many guards in the NFL were worse than Kenyon Greene last year? That you took at 14?
2.
Would you like to hear the list again?
None of them.
None of them. 77 out of 77 graded guards.
That's not good.
And you just name me the last time from when they were in the AFC Championship game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Name me the year the roster's gotten better. I understand rebuilding. I understand teams go through lean periods, and obviously you were going to have that because you moved on from your franchise quarterback, Deshaun Watson. I'm not saying you shouldn't have. You got a king's ransom for him. You're to the backside of that. You're to the backside of the package you got for him, and you're telling me you could walk away from this with Derek Stingley, Kenyon Greene, Tyree Wilson, and Jackson Smith and Jigba. Woo. And I'm not trying to toot my team's own horn here. The Jets had 3 first-round picks last year.
Mm-hmm.
Rookie of the Year, Sauce Gardner. Rookie of the Year, Garrett Wilson. Jermaine Johnson, who I still value to be a dog. They got more in 1 year with no trade piece than you've gotten with the entire thing you got for Deshaun Watson. It's a travesty. And I don't know where you go. And the more things like this I hear, how did you convince D'Amico Ryans to come into this? He comes from one of the most stable organizations in the NFL. He has got to be looking around going, we're not seriously doing this, right? Like, we're lying to somebody.
I feel like he knows. He knows where this is at. This is one of those where you hire the coach and then you fire the GM. Because there's no chance that Nick Cesario hangs on for much longer. They may not fire him after the draft like has been rumored. He may be, and here's the thing. You're asking Nick Cesario whether or not he's going to not have a job in a few weeks. What did you expect him to say?
Oh, yeah.
Did you expect him to go, well, we did have some conversations, and it's right now I think it's about 50-50 on whether or not I still have a job on the Monday after the draft. But,
I wish
he went full on Wolf of Wall Street. I feel like the Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not leaving.
I wish he had just gone full into song of the roof is on fire, and we don't need no water. Let that Texans building burn.
Yeah.
Bad words. Yeah. It's a joke. And now it's been picked up. Peter Schrager's got it. The betting markets have completely moved.
Mm-hmm.
This is confounding at the highest degree. And it could have a huge effect on this draft. Because I'm going to tell you, the listening audience, exactly what I told Mr. Spencer earlier. Do you realize how far C.J. Stroud could fall?
It could be a while.
If the Seattle Seahawks don't stop it, he could fall out of the top 10. And Anthony Richardson could be right behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And if that happens, you mark my words, the Tennessee Titans will happily let one fall right in their lap.
Absolutely.
And the Baltimore Ravens will start calling any team that will listen. And there's one that wears a color that's in this studio a lot. bet you would be willing to acquiesce them.
Are you talking about the Jets?
Of course I'm talking about the Jets.
That C.J. Stroud could fall to 13?
If he falls
and
to,
that's where
well, actually, it's Anthony Richardson, I think, would fall.
Oh, okay.
Stroud would probably end up in Tennessee, and then you've got that. I mean, that's how I have never seen a draft that is this up in the air 9 days beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
We always have stories. We always have rumors. There's always things going on. This is one time that I genuinely have no clue 9 days out. I know one. I feel really safe at 2 at this point. Now, that could change in the next 9 days.
Mm-hmm.
At 3, Arizona would take Will Anderson, wouldn't think a second thing about it. The Colts would still take Will Levis.
Mm-hmm.
And Jalen Carter falls to 5, and the draft starts at 6. And I feel pretty sure Devin Witherspoon's going to go 6 to the Detroit Lions.
So are you hearing that Seattle's warming up to the idea of drafting Jalen Carter, or is that just your own theory?
I have heard that if there's no Will Anderson, the way I've heard it is that Seattle's board goes Will Anderson 1, Jalen Carter 2, 8 pounds of garbage, and then we'll hope that we don't have to get there. And so now the further the time has gone on, the more they have gotten just okay with, you know what, all right, if he busts out for personality things, we took a swing on the talent. At least we didn't reach. It's going to be a fun 9 days.
It is indeed.
Strap in, boys and girls.
Never forget what Flostradamus wants us all to remember. When the news comes out,
who wants you to know that?
Who wants you to know? You are in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, and this is no secret. This is getting done out in the open here. Sources saying there's been a trade in the NFL, or at least the terms of a trade have been agreed to for one receiver to move to Pittsburgh. We'll talk about that next.
The siren song of the sea beckons with a bounteous treasure and a desire that must be fulfilled.
Here's your seafood order, Mr. Willem.
Well, did you get me wild sashimi tuna?
Yes, sir.
And the Charleston crab cake, bourbon salmon, and wild mahi-mahi with mango salsa?
It's all in the bag.
At Ingles, our extensive seafood department offers a huge variety from your local catch to flavors from around the world. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Yeah!
Every Friday.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Cleaning the inside of your house is easy, but the outside is where most people need a little help. WNC Wash Pros are the highest rated exterior cleaning company in North Carolina with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Whether you need your walkways pressure washed or the outside of the house scrubbed clean, we will kill all organic growth to preserve your paint and extend the life of your roof with our gentle and soft approach. Call us at 828-560-WASH or visit our website at WNCWashPros.com for a free estimate today.
Two NBA insiders podcasting twice a week to plug you right into the NBA grapevine.
All happening in only one place. This League Uncut, the new NBA podcast with me, Chris Haynes,
and me, Mark Stein.
Join us as we team up to expound on everything we're covering, hearing, and chasing.
Listen to This League Uncut with Chris Haynes and Mark Stein
on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Ricardo, quote, "This is one of the greatest inventions ever. I know this may sound like I'm exaggerating, but this sucker is amazing. The first time I did it, I couldn't believe what came out of my sinuses. I could breathe with ease. My wife just bought one too. Thank you for this product." Unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy. Yes, breaking news in the NFL. Well, it's already been broken for a little bit, but
not long.
Not long.
It didn't break long enough before the show that we didn't have to scurry during the break.
Indeed, the Pittsburgh Steelers apparently have a deal in place with the Los Angeles Rams to get Allen Robinson. The two teams are going to trade 7th-round picks. So the Rams will move up like 16 spots, something like that. Math's not my strong suit, but they're going from 251 to 234.
That's 17 spots.
In the 7th round. I think that's a good guesstimation. And then, of course, Pittsburgh will pick up some of the contract, but not all of the Allen Robinson contract.
Pittsburgh's on the hook for $5 million.
The Rams are going to pay $10.25 million on the $15+ million deal.
So you remember that thing I said of the Rams could still be a threat in the NFC?
Not anymore.
Yeah, that went away. And it's not just because of this deal. They're really willing to move anything that's not glued to the ground. They know where this is. And you just gave up Allen Robinson, who was your prized free agent acquisition, to move up 16 spots in the 7th round.
Well, I mean, at some point you have to look at an experiment and go, that was a failure.
And I totally get that.
And after Allen Robinson was added to this team, he did get hurt last year, but even before he was hurt, he was not a key piece to this offense. He just didn't mesh well. I don't know what it was.
He didn't fit well in the offense.
Right. He just didn't work out. And so at this point, you got to go, okay, well, we can bail. It's the best move that they could make.
Now, the interesting side of this to me is Pittsburgh. That's a pretty formidable receiving core when you look at it.
Absolutely.
If Allen Robinson is even 75% of what he was before he went to L.A., that's two legit ones.
Mm-hmm.
Because Deontay Johnson and Allen Robinson are both top 32 in the NFL wide receivers. And George Pickens, I would say, is a top 5 young receiver in the NFL. And you got Pat Freiermuth.
Yep.
And you got Najee Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And you have 2 picks in the top 32. Is it just out of bounds to say that Pittsburgh has improved themselves? If not the most in the league, as much as anybody. Name me a team that you feel more different about right now than the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because that offense is going to be difficult to deal with.
They will be.
Yes, you need to address the offensive line in the draft. All right, let's for giggles say they take Osiris Torrance at 17 and then take Anton Harrison at 32. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the defense was already pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the hole? There's no hole in your offense. Look, I don't love Anton Harrison, but is he better than Dan Moore? Yeah, by quite a bit.
Right. I mean, there remains only one question to me, and that's Kenny Pickett.
Do you really have questions about Kenny Pickett?
Not really. I mean, to me, I feel about Kenny Pickett like you felt about Mac Jones. He's high floor, low ceiling.
All right, that's a fun comparison. Who would you rather have right now, Mac Jones or Kenny Pickett?
Kenny Pickett, not close.
Not close.
Not close. I'm not saying they're the same. I said that's just how
I
view
got
him.
I got the reference.
Okay.
I was curious.
Yeah, no, it's Kenny Pickett, not close. He was better last year than I thought he would be. He did show some flashes. And you have said this about Justin Fields in our A+ Chicago mock draft.
which will be out.
Which is going to be coming out after
later
the show
tonight
here on the YouTube stream.
Carolina Panthers after this here program.
That's right. That's right. But when the Chicago video comes out, you will hear Jeremy say that Justin Fields, there's no more excuses.
No.
Not that there are a whole lot of excuses for Kenny Pickett right now anyway, but
and here's the thing, Kenny Pickett was fine.
You give him 3 wide receivers like this and a tight end to lean on and a thumper running back in an offensive line, that offense should move pretty smoothly.
And I feel like, and I said Osiris Torrance earlier, I feel like the inside of the line's pretty good. It's the 2 tackles that you need to address.
The big question remains, what are you going to get out of Allen Robinson? Is he going to be healthy? Because he hasn't been healthy for long in a while, right? In 2021, I think he had a full season, but other than that, it feels like he's missed a handful of games.
I don't think it's as bad as you believe.
Maybe not. Maybe it's not. Maybe he's just one of those that's always on an injury report.
Okay, so he missed almost half the year last year.
Mm-hmm.
Had a few, and I want to say in Chicago, it wasn't even an injury. It was
I don't want to be
I'm a
here.
celebrity, get me out of here. Other than that, he's been reasonably healthy. I mean, he had the ACL issue a few years ago.
Right.
I just think this is an A-plus move by the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're getting Allen Wright. You're getting a shot at a receiver that is fact or fiction is better than any receiver you'd get in this draft.
Fact.
I think I would take Allen Robinson even at, I mean, he's 29, so it's, but for 1 year, I would take what he can give me over Smith and Jigba, over Quentin Johnston, over Zay Flowers.
Agreed.
Then there's no downside. And I'm just looking at Pittsburgh going, yep, here you go again. You find a way to be competitive because this is what you do. And Stephen Tao said this earlier in our YouTube chat. They've been talking about trading up to 9 for weeks. And would I be shocked if that was for Paris Johnson? No, I wouldn't. Would I be shocked if it was for a corner? No, I wouldn't. And I mean, I hate to lean on the gambling markets, but Vegas does know things that you don't.
Right.
Joey Porter's line has moved to right in front of Pittsburgh. Joey Porter Jr. now, the futures bet line on him is right in front of Pittsburgh.
So what you're saying is I just need them to pass up on him so he can fall to 19.
Yeah, you need them to do that Baltimore Ravens thing where they forget to make, or the Minnesota Vikings thing where they forget to make a pick for a minute.
Right.
And you just
go
turn
it in now. Give me Joey Porter.
Yeah, that'll never happen again.
No, it'll never happen.
But I mean, look, Big Noriega in our YouTube chat, not a big fan of Kenny Pickett, and I get it. He's not sexy. He's not glamorous. He's not any of those things.
Nope.
He's safe.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even. Oh, we were talking about bumper pool in one of the mock drafts we recorded earlier. The high side and the low side, they're separated by about that much. If you can't see us, there's about an inch in between my fingers.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Your ceiling's not crazy high, but your floor is incredibly safe.
Exactly.
And you put weapons like this around him. You play really good defense. And why do I see this? Why do I have this vision of Pittsburgh just doing exactly what Pittsburgh does? They find a way to get in the playoffs, and then they're the team nobody wants to play.
Yep. And he becomes the next Jimmy Garoppolo, who may not be a great quarterback, but his team was so good around him, and the chemistry and the culture worked that it got him to the Super Bowl.
And Noriega said he's a diehard Steelers fan. I think I already knew that. And Kenny's not elite. I'm not saying he's elite. I'm saying he doesn't have to be.
Mm-hmm.
When you play defense the way the Pittsburgh Steelers do, because really be honest with yourself, how many teams in the NFL predicate themselves on defense? It's not many. It's just not.
Right.
And you play in this big physical division. I'm seeing a path that Pittsburgh is setting themselves up into a position to be that annoying team that they just live being, and just watch them do what they do and wind up in the playoffs.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
We got our first one of those of the day, and that's the first time I've remembered to hit that button, and I can't remember how long. It's from our buddy Colin, who's just been out here gifting memberships throughout the entire first hour because he got that dog in him. Don't be caught off guard if DeAndre Hopkins gets traded before the draft. I fully believe he's going to be traded before the draft, and I think it's to the Kansas City Chiefs. And then he came out and said the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's been the Chiefs and the Bills for as long as I can remember, and I think Kansas City's going to win out. He also asked how we feel about the Chiefs signing Blaine Gabbert. Have you ever seen that? You ever seen that meme of the old guy that's wearing the red striped shirt and he holds up the new one? He's like, "Look at my gift." Chad Henne, Blaine Gabbert. I mean, this is what Andy does. He loves having a vet behind Pat Mahomes, good in the room.
Somebody that if Patrick Mahomes goes down, you're not going to be completely lost.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and I fully believe that I could play quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. And is it going to look like Pat Mahomes? No. Is it going to look like the Jets with Zach Wilson? Also, no. I'm not saying I'm better than Zach Wilson. That's not one. Okay.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. We'll get just a bit outside when we come back from the break, and it's time to get to another round of draft needs. Doing all of the NFL teams here leading up to the draft, and the Cincinnati Bengals will be coming up next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Beautiful weather continues here in the Carolinas with low humidity again tonight and temps in the low to mid-40s. We do warm things up with south winds returning to Asheville midweek. 81 degrees tomorrow, 81 on Thursday, close to 80 on Friday. Our next front coming in Saturday. Some half-inch rains on Saturday and a high near 60 degrees, cooler Saturday night, Sunday. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by KFC. Everybody's going to want KFC's new Kentucky Fried Chicken Nuggets. Each hand-breaded nugget is made with 100% white meat and their famous original recipe. You've never had nuggets like these. That's finger-licking good.
If you have joint pain and they're telling you surgery is your best option, please stop what you're doing and call QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics uses the latest, most advanced regenerative treatments to bring lasting pain relief the natural way. Regenerative medicine harnesses your own body's healing agents to restore and repair damaged tissue in your knees, hips, shoulders, and back. The precision treatments are done in the office with no drugs and no downtime. QC Kinetics has hundreds of clinics all over America and thousands of satisfied patients. If your joints are aching from arthritis or injury, look beyond steroids and surgery and discover the amazing possibilities with regenerative medicine. Especially this time of year, live your life to the fullest and do the stuff you love to do. If you can get relief and avoid going under the knife, doesn't it make sense to check it out? Call QC Kinetics now, 828-333-9517. It's a free consultation. That's 828-333-9517. Locations in Asheville and Greenville.
Did you know your completely free iHeartRadio app is also your home for hit podcasts? New for you this week, check out On Purpose with Jay Shetty, discussing philosophy, life, and conversations with the biggest stars in the world. Listen today on your free iHeartRadio app.
iHeartRadio.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to espnavl.com.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy, and yep, one of the major three sports is one of the major three sports is probably never going to end up in the just a bit outside segment since we talk about it all the time, and that's professional football. But in the NBA, it's definitely the niche sport, especially when you hold your games in the middle of the night where I can't see them. Last night, the Warriors took on the Kings, and there was a little bit of a fracas, and who's shocked that it's Draymond Green.
No one.
Involved in it once again. So last night, during the middle of the game, Draymond Green, he stomped on Domantas Sabonis. Now, the question is, he got ejected from the game. He got a flagrant 2, all that stuff. He's going to get fined by the league, I'm sure. The question is this just another dirty play by Draymond Green? Or do you give him a little bit of leeway here? I feel like he was in a no-win situation.
Well, I mean,
people are making this out to be like, oh, here's Draymond just being, Draymond again. Yeah, there was a little bit of it, but I also feel like that was one of the best pulled punches that I've seen in a while.
Well, I mean, first of all, Domantas Sabonis, anybody above the age of 3 should not be clinging to the leg of an adult. Okay,
Agreed.
That's where I start. But to step on the guy the way he did, if it wasn't Draymond Green, it wouldn't be the story that it is.
True.
But, okay, just think about it this way. If you get pulled over 30 times for speeding, on the 31st time, do they really care why you were doing it?
Right.
No.
No, nobody
It's who
cares.
you are. Did you get put in a bad situation? Sure. You're rushing to the hospital because your wife's having a baby? Okay. Well, I don't think it's just this situation that leads to you doing
Did
that.
Sabonis do a very good acting job? Yes, he did.
I don't know that he was so much acting as he was.
I don't know that he was hurt that bad. He did the soccer player thing, where he got tapped and then he went, "Oh God, I'm dead! Oh, I can't breathe. My ribs are broken." Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't come down on Draymond as hard for this one. And I think any talk that, they should suspend him for the upcoming game. No.
Oh, they're going to suspend him.
Are they?
Oh, no doubt. Oh, no doubt in my mind. He is no doubt getting suspended for that game. If he doesn't, it'll be the first good decision that the NBA's made in quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, I understand every word in this. I can't believe they're in this order. Did you know the NBA had a combine?
Yes.
Have you ever watched 1 second of it?
No.
No. Because if you think we're nerds for watching the NFL combine, you take you a gander at that NBA would. Here's a guy shooting 15 shots from the elbow with 1 foot on the ground. Okay. The NBA has come up with a 91-page jointly written memo that's from them and the NBA PA. And one of the lines that caught my attention is that from here on out, you will have to have participated in the combine to be drafted. And if you don't participate, they won't allow you to be on a team until you do. So if you decide, you can't force that, I'm not going to go to the combine. You can't be signed that entire year. You have to wait until the next combine to actually go through it. And this is for the medical and all of the, they call it biomechanical and functional movement testing.
Okay.
I just want to ask you a theoretical question. Can you imagine a day where the NFL would say you have to participate in the combine to be drafted at all?
No.
Is this really a big deal? No. It's just example number 411 of you don't get it. You just don't get it. And I swear to you, you tell me I'm a 10-foot hat guy. Keep it right here in my desk just in case the government starts trying to steal my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Adam Silver almost has to be doing this on purpose. I don't know for what. I don't know what your ultimate goal is.
What do you mean, tanking the league?
I don't know what he's trying to do. I genuinely feel like he was handed, wasn't a Mercedes, because the league wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever felt less about the NBA than you do right now?
No.
There you go. And guess what? I'll bet you if we put that question out in the chat, every person in the comments would say the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time you heard somebody say, I've got to get home and watch an NBA playoff game?
Oh, it's been years. It's been at least 4 or 5 years.
There are guys playing in these playoffs, playing legit minutes that the average sports fan does not know are in the league.
I honestly believe that the coronavirus shutdown killed the NBA. It never came back to any level.
And see, I can't.
Because you went through the bubble thing and then.
Well, I mean, I can go through 14 different things that have killed this league, but we don't talk about politics here,
right.
so I won't be doing that.
But remember everything that happened during the shutdown.
Oh, no, I know.
Right.
I know what you're saying.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's when it all turned.
And I feel like you could have even I feel like with a certain part of your fan base, you could have recovered from that. There's some people that just, politics that's what they live and breathe on. So, once you're dead to me, you're dead to me.
Right.
And
there are some people who will get over it, and there are some people who will boycott Bud Light forever.
But then I feel like you've compounded everything on top of it. And now it's almost like you're scurrying around like a rat in a maze trying to find a piece of cheese, and you have no clue where it is.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't know what to do with it if you found it. It's gotten to a comical place. And I just never – I don't think there's ever been a person in sports who my opinion of them has deteriorated as much as it has with Adam Silver.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot get out of your own way. And that's on you.
Yep. This is the Sportsocracy, and we are your Draftmas Central. We'll be covering each and every pick of the NFL Draft live next week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Tomorrow, we have an announcement of how not tomorrow because we were preempted tomorrow.
That's right.
Thursday, we have an announcement about how you can join us live for all the Draftmas coverage.
Live and in person. You can always join us live when we're in the Ingles studio or in a remote Ingles studio, wherever that might be. You can always get us on YouTube. And we've been churning out all of the Draftmas team-by-team mock draft content and draft needs as well. It's time to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals, a team that seems pretty sewn up on every level. What do you need in the 2023 NFL Draft?
I feel like we're using the word need very loosely here.
Yes.
Because for me, their biggest need is the tight end. And, it just so happens that is the best position in this class by a mile. If they don't take one at the end of the first round, I'll be stunned. Could you take an offensive tackle? Could you take a corner if one fell?
Jahmyr Gibbs.
I'm not telling you I can't see it.
You're right. You never know.
But that's a luxury pick. You do still have Joe Mixon. Now, if they're as dead set on moving on from him as we reported that last week, that it is trending in a direction where Joe Mixon will no longer be a member of the Cincinnati Bengals, whether that's this year or a year from now. Now, if that's the case, then yes, you need a running back, and Jahmyr Gibbs would fit that quite nicely. My only fear with doing that is I'm not sure that you're not going to have a second back with him. I feel like Bijan Robinson's a 3-down back. If he fell to them, we're not thinking about this. We're not talking about this.
Right.
I just kind of struggle to believe that one of the best talents in this class, no matter what position he plays, is going to fall that far.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's more what's realistic. Because if somehow Jahmyr Gibbs was off the board, and I don't believe Bijan Robinson will be there, there's not a running back to take there. And then you just don't move off Joe Mixon. You're currently slotting in Irv Smith as your starting tight end. And look, I love Irv. And I think he's got a great second act coming here with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Mm-hmm. Tight end whisperer loved him. Loved him some Irv Smith.
Okay. You miss sometimes. And I feel pretty sure I can say that I missed there. And now his has been a lot more injuries than it has been anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, this is one of the most balanced rosters in the league. You finally moved off Jonah Williams, who's still on this team. People seem to be forgetting that. I'm looking at the PFF depth chart. They've completely taken him off.
Well, I mean, he won't play another snap for this team. Do you think?
There's a possibility. I don't feel the problem with a guy like Jonah Williams is, okay, let's say, and there was interest in him. It's seriously dwindled,
Mm-hmm.
or at least the talk about it has dwindled. So if you're the Bengals, obviously there are teams that need left tackles, and there are a few of them that are in the top end of the draft. Would I rather have Jonah Williams, who I've seen be okay, and is dead set he's a left tackle, or would I rather take Broderick Jones or Paris Johnson? Okay, so you'll have teams that miss on those guys. Maybe they're willing to come off a pick, but that's probably going to happen after the draft. So then you ask yourself the question, what is more valuable? I get a pick for him for next year, or I just tell him to suck it up, you're a guard now. Because to me, it's the second one, and it's not even close.
I was going to say that's a bold strategy, Cotton.
What's he going to do?
Nothing.
This is not there's this perception that he's a Trent Williams. No, he's not. He was a liability that I've been screaming is not a left tackle for 2 solid years.
Right.
Might be 3 years now.
But at that point, do you want him still in the building? That's where I fall in. I think the Cincinnati Bengals don't want a malcontent backup tackle on their team.
Well, he's not a backup tackle. He's a starting guard. That's where it's at. And there are certain times and there are certain franchises that I feel like would really behoove themselves to look at a guy and go, who cuts the checks here, me or you? Because I don't know what you think you are, but they floated him out there. If there was legit interest where they would get a day 2 pick for him, there wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
They'd have already done it.
Right.
So I'm going to have to trade you for, what, a 5th-round pick just because, well, I want to be a left tackle. Well, I want to be a ballerina. Unfortunately, God made me 6'5", 260 pounds, and that's just not going to happen now, is it? They're punking. So you can play guard or you can go home. I don't really care. Because right now I'm looking at guard as one of their top 4 biggest needs. If I slide Jonah Williams in, that's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And he could have a career resurgence at guard. Fills the need, don't have to use draft capital, and this team's even more formidable than we think they are sitting here looking at right now.
Okay.
A lot of people talk about corners with them. I like Cam Taylor-Britt. He's the 2. Eli Apple is past, present at this point.
Thank God.
And, I mean, with Chidobe and Hilton in the slot, I think you're fine. Would I like to have a safety? Yeah. This is a terrible, terrible, terrible time to need a safety. Because for as good as tight end is, that's how bad safety is.
But they're picking at the end of the draft or at the end of the first round. That could be, I don't know, Antonio Johnson.
Antonio Johnson's not a first-round guy.
Really?
Not close. He may be a back into the second at this point.
Really? Okay.
In our YouTube chat, Silver asked, "Do people like Emmanuel Forbes in the first?" Yeah, and that's if they took a corner, that's who I think it would be. I don't necessarily know that this is what they're going to do. Kevin the Elder God, who had a super chat that we'll get to momentarily, said Brian Branch. Brian Branch is the number 1 safety in this class for me by a lot. The problem is that him and Daxton Hill do a lot of the same thing. And I'm not sure that they could play together. I'm not sure that solves your problem. It's just one of those schematic fits of, you could try it.
Mm-hmm.
In my head, I can't make the math, but it's possible. And it's also possible that Cincinnati does that Kansas City thing that I talk about all the time. You don't have a pressing need. Your biggest need on this team, you're going into next year with a guy that I have argued is a top 12 talent at his position in this league for 2 years. Trusting him at this point with the injuries and how much time he's missed, I think is a bit of a fool's errand,
Mm-hmm.
but that's your biggest need. Then you start getting into, we need a rotational defensive tackle, and, well, it'd be nice to have another linebacker. I feel like the Cincinnati Bengals are going into this draft like a fat guy going into a grocery store. Like, well, yeah, I mean, I've eaten enough. I'm certainly not going to starve, but I could really go for some Funyuns and fruit roll-ups.
Yeah. The house is full of food, but we don't have those specialty items.
But you know what I don't have? A frozen pizza that I could just annihilate. Because I've been doing crimes, and I'm hungry.
So who is your perfect marriage tight end-wise?
Michael Mayer.
Michael Mayer.
But then again, he's my perfect marriage with all the teams that need tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could give him to 4 or 5 teams, but Well, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Dalton Kincaid.
I like him. I don't necessarily like him as much with the Bengals. I want somebody that can block better than that.
Okay.
He's not a complete liability, but he's not the plus blocker that Mayer is or the plus blocker that Darnell Washington is.
All right, Cincinnati Bengals, they got their full complement of picks in this draft, and they don't need any of them.
No.
This is a team that could still threaten for the Super Bowl, make the Super Bowl, dare I say win a Super Bowl without making a single pick in this draft. However, they're still going to add talent, and they're still going to be scary good.
It's just a good roster that, I mean, nobody gives them credit. Nobody gives them credit for the amount of talent that they've brought into this building.
You are in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
Before we go to the break,
I'm your huckleberry.
Kevin the Elder God, who is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I do believe, said, Kenny, I would say, is already at Kirk Cousins' skill with time to grow and become even better. Just need a captain to steer the ship and not turn over the ball. I couldn't agree with you more. I really couldn't. And I think that's what they're doing, is they're treating him as a young Kirk Cousins. All I need you to do is distribute the ball. I'm going to give you every piece you need. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then we'll do something different in 2 years. But I have no reason to believe that it won't.
What defensive players does at ESPN draft nerd Jeremy Greene feel like better than the industry? We'll give you the defensive side of the Amon-Ra St. Brown team coming up after the SportsCenter update.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zack with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Just keep your eye on the ball. At Ingles, we know that big dreams don't always make it to the big leagues. But we also know that baseball, it's family. It's about building character. And as sure as there'll be some stumbles on that journey from first to home, we'll be right there, cheering you on. This is baseball, and this is who we are. Ingles, we're with you every step of the way.
The 35th season of Downtown After 5, presented by Prestige Subaru, returns to North Lexington Avenue this Friday evening. The season starts with Philadelphia native and Grammy-nominated artist Devin Gilfillian. With special guests Joe Lasher Jr. and Caitlin Baker. Downtown After 5 is always free and proudly sponsored by iHeartMedia Asheville.
Have your outdoors and running water too with Luxury Loo, the tasteful solution to portable bathroom rentals. Family owned and local, Luxury Loo Rental provides modern bathrooms on the go with running water, AC and heating, flushable toilets, and elegant designs. Luxury Loos are perfect for weddings, corporate events, remodels, and more. Don't leave your well-dressed guests to use a dirty porta-potty john.
Ew.
Turn to Asheville natives. Luxury Loo. Visit LuxuryLoosRental.com.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns, and here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Imagine transforming your outdoor space into a stylish and functional area for relaxation and entertainment. Imagine superior durability and longevity, ensuring that your investment lasts for years to come. Imagine whatever you'd like. Decorators Composite Decking, Railing, Balusters, and Accessories can help you create a deck that reflects your personal style and provides an inviting space for you and your loved ones to gather. Make your vision a reality. To learn more, visit decorators.com. That's decorators with a K.
Coffee still closes on. Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power. That watch costs more than your car. Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
Well, got both of the games right last night, but both let me down by being lower scoring than I could have ever imagined. But before I get into this, the Warriors are done like dinner. The Kings want it more, and it's obvious they're frustrating Golden State by beating them at their own game. 3 in the lead tonight. I have all the picks to make it a profitable night. This is Greene on Greene, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. The Boston Celtics are a 10-point favorite tonight at home against the Atlanta Hawks. I'll start with the easiest pick of the night. The Celtics were up by 30 at half in Game 1. And it's abundantly clear that Atlanta isn't even in the same weight class as the Celtics. Atlanta's at a disadvantage at every position, and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are going to continue to eat after they both went double-double in Game 1. We knew the line was going to bounce after that travesty, but it's still not enough. Boston by 1 billion, I'll comfortably lay the 10. On the games that should be a little more competitive. The New York Knicks are a 5.5-point dog at the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight, over under 214. The biggest problem for the Cavaliers was on full display in the first game of this series. They don't have anyone other than Donovan Mitchell that can put the ball in the basket. Very basic tenet of winning basketball games, and the Cavs don't do it well. What I didn't expect was the Knicks would beat them sideways on the boards. 51-38, and the Knicks had 17 offensive rebounds. That's what Cleveland does. I do look for that to be a little closer in this game because it is what the Cavs hang their hat on. Here's my problem. I'm not sure the Knicks aren't just a better team. They didn't shoot particularly well in the first game, and they were still able to win on the road. I think Cleveland will even this series heading into the Garden for Game 3, but there's just no way I can give up that many points. Knicks plus the 5.5, and I'll take these two slow-paced teams to go under the 214. Finally, the Los Angeles Clippers are an 8-point dog tonight at the Phoenix Suns. Over-under is 226. I'm not real sure that Vegas saw the same game that I did the first time these two teams played. The Clippers showed exactly what I've been saying about Phoenix. They gutted the roster to get Kevin Durant. They outscored the Suns 34-10 in bench points, and there's a simple reason for that. They're playing guys off the bench in Phoenix that shouldn't be in the NBA. Every bench player for LA was plus 11 or better when they were on the floor, and every bit of it should play out again tonight. Yes, the starters in Phoenix are special, and they have an advantage when they're on the floor with no Paul George for the Clips. But they all played 40-plus minutes in Game 1, and it wasn't enough. Also, Scott Foster is your official tonight, and he will look to continue the greatest winning streak in NBA history as Chris Paul-led teams have lost 13 in a row in games in the playoffs officiated by Foster. Give me the Clippers. I don't need the points. I'll take them outright, and I'm going over the 226. For more, follow us on all the social medias at The Sportsocracy. And as always, Greene on Greene is brought to you by Ingles Markets. Love the savings with Ingles. Love the winnings with me. Mull it out.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Beautiful weather continues here in the Carolinas with low humidity again tonight and temps in the low to mid-40s. We do warm things up with south winds returning to Asheville midweek. 81 degrees tomorrow, 81 on Thursday, close to 80 on Friday. Our next front coming in Saturday. Some half-inch rains on Saturday and a high near 60 degrees, cooler Saturday night, Sunday. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America, N.A. Copyright 2023.
Spring in the South means the return of Atlanta Braves baseball.
There's a liner out towards center field. It will lay down. Here comes Ronald. Braves win it.
The 2023 Braves load up for another huge season.
The Braves play here on ESPN Asheville.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Since 2010, Blindster has sold millions of custom blinds, shades, and shutters to satisfied customers across the country with 20,000 five-star reviews and an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. Custom blinds at low prices and free shipping. Blindster.com.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Bill safety Damar Hamlin's gotten the green light to resume his NFL career, and he plans on doing just that. Hamlin told reporters his heart's still in the game, and what happened in Cincinnati on January 2nd isn't the end of his story. Specialists have cleared him to resume playing without any fear of setbacks or complications after going into cardiac arrest during a game January 2nd. Where Hamlin is today is no surprise to teammate, quarterback Josh Allen.
Never going to doubt a guy like that who's had a lot of adversity in his life, and he's continued to find ways, and this is just another obstacle that he's been able to get around and push forward, and super excited for him, super excited for our team. He's a heck of a football player, and we love having him back.
Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts had minor ankle surgery this offseason, reports ESPN's Tim McManus. He'll be a full participant in the Eagles offseason program. NBA playoffs, Bucks power forward Giannis Antetokounmpo did not practice today due to a back contusion. The team is optimistic, though, about his status for Game 2 tomorrow night against the Heat. Grizzlies point guard Ja Morant, a game-time decision for Game 2 against the Lakers tomorrow night because of a hand injury.
The new Venture X card from Capital One. Earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars and 5x miles on flights when you book through Capital One Travel, plus 2x miles on all other purchases. Capital One. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, money. That's money. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets.
It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We come to you live, as always, from the Ingles Studio. You can hear us everywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app. And don't forget, you can get in touch with the program immediately just by joining us in the chat on the YouTube stream.
Speaking of the chat, we had one of these to clean up from the first hour.
I'm your huckleberry.
It's from our buddy Colin. He asked what the Allen Robinson trade does to DeAndre Hopkins' value. That has really been the reason that hasn't happened. From what I hear, Arizona still wants a day 2 pick for him, and everyone is balking at that. So I still think it gets done, but it's probably, I'll say it's a 4, and Arizona has to eat some of the money.
It's a small price to pay.
Oh, no doubt.
If you got the money to pick up the contract, a 4th-round pick. Small price to pay for DeAndre Hopkins, who still has a lot of good football left.
Oh, yeah, and I will say it's either the Kansas City Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm.
That's been the two that I've been clung to forever, and I'm not going to change until somebody gives me a reason to.
And he posted out a video the other day basically confirming just that. He was being asked to make faces, not to say anything where you want to go, but give us the emoji. Give us your face on these destination spots. He wasn't wild about any of the other spots that were given
Jets.
to him other than the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs.
The Jets got a big grumper, and I went, thank you. We don't need another. Stop with the receivers.
No, you've got enough.
Yes, we're fine.
You have enough. With Captain Ayahuasca and those weapons, you've got enough. So DeAndre Hopkins will move, but his value is at, a 4th-round pick at best, you say?
I would say yes. I think if they dropped it down to that, it'll get done. And don't be shocked. This is the week where you start seeing trade values get back to, okay, because now you're looking at it going, would I rather have a 4th-round pick right now, or we still want to do this after the draft, and now I've got a 4th-round pick a year from now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll bird in the hand.
Here in the Sportsocracy yesterday, 4 o'clock hour, we gave you the offensive team of the Amon-Ra St. Brown team. This is Jeremy Greene's I almost said can't miss prospect. There's no such thing as a can't miss prospect. But this is the guy these are the guys that Jeremy likes better than the industry.
These are the guys that if I worked for a team, I would be pounding the table for when our picks came up.
Yes. Once labeled the Chase Claypool team, once labeled the Michael Pittman team.
It has really been good for sophomore slumps for different players it's been named for, which is why we chose a second-year player this time.
That's right. The Amon-Ra St. Brown team, all defense here. So your edge rushers that you like better in this class than the industry. First one, Yaya Diaby, edge rusher out of Louisville.
You talk about my closest comp to him is Javon Curse. Now, did I always see that production? No. And that's the reason that I think you'll be able to get him late day 2, early day 3. I mean, look, he's raw. You're going to have to round things into form, but he also hasn't played that much. Started as a JUCO guy, really highly recruited JUCO guy that wound up at Louisville. And, I mean, let's just be really honest here. Maybe didn't get the level of coaching at Louisville that you would want defensively because, they like to score points.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, he runs a 4.51, or at least that's what he ran at the combine. I always love using the GPS numbers when they have clocked guys. He hit almost 21 miles an hour as a defensive end.
Wow.
Now, am I sitting here telling you he's ever going to be 3 down? I think he could. I don't necessarily know that that's what his high side is, but he's hyper athletic. And for me, if I'm I'll tell you, the team that we're an affiliate of, the Carolina Panthers, that's a team I really like this kid with. Because I think if you put him on the opposite end of an established pass rusher to where you can't really fixate on him, and he can get some reps just kind of working his way through. Because, I mean, he's strong enough. I mean, I hate to call this the Stuart Smalley thing of he's big enough, he's strong enough, and gosh darn it, people like him. But he doesn't have that go-to move. Always the Dwight Freeney spin move is what I go to here. Of you knew it was coming, and it didn't mean squat that you knew it was coming because he had perfected it. Yaya Diaby doesn't have any of that. He has, hey, I'm fast and athletic, and I'm just going to out-athlete you. But a lot of times when I saw him against a high-level prospect, he kind of got manhandled. And it's just because, to me, it's because he hasn't been coached as aggressively as I would like.
All right, Yaya Diaby, the first edge rusher. Second edge rusher, Tar Heel fans, you may be familiar with this name. We talked about him a lot before the Pittsburgh game this year with Jones Angel, the voice of the Tar Heels. Habakkuk Baldonado.
He would also we're off to a rousing start of guys that would be on the all-name list. You hear a lot about Kalijah Cansey. You don't hear as much about Habakkuk Baldonado, and I really don't know why. Because he was incredibly impactful in college. And this is one of those guys that I come up against this with the sharp analysts all the time, and I wasn't trying to take a shot at them there. It was just it seems that it's the same group when I talk about guys like this.
Mm-hmm.
Of put on the tape and tell me why that's not going to work in the NFL. And then you get into a lot of, well, the arms aren't long enough. Well, it's not really a problem with him. I mean, he's 6'4", 250. So is he ever going to hold up consistently against the run? He was pretty good at it in college. He wasn't perfect by a stretch of the imagination, but I look at this kid, and he gets no love. I have heard nobody talk about him. Any of the 3-round mock drafts, any of the content that I consume, nobody ever mentions him, and I don't know why.
I mean, the only thing I can go to is would it be because he has limited playing experience?
I mean, not really. He played 40 games in college. I mean, no, he's not a 2,500 snap guy, but I feel like I've got a pretty good beat on what this guy is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did he necessarily progressed the way I wanted him. His best year was as a junior. If he'd come out last year, I feel like everybody would be talking about him the way I do. But you run into this with some of these guys that we see you on tape. You stay consistent, but maybe you peaked a little early, and then you just fade into the ether for the new shiny toy. And I don't get it. Like, I mean, I'm not telling you this guy's Lucas Van Ness or one of the high-end first-round guys, but to tell me he can't go in the second day is it's pretty insane to me.
Yep.
He was the same guy every year. I mean, I'm talking about from his freshman year because you said limited action. I mean, he was a situational pass rusher early, but he played as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
And he was good as a freshman.
Yeah, I mean, he played a lot in college, but, I mean, this is a guy from Rome. He had only played in the United States for a year.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that – I don't know. I don't know because what I saw
I can say
was
the same thing about Gervon Dexter, who everybody's jumping up and down to put in their first 2 rounds.
Absolutely. But what I saw of him in Pittsburgh was a guy that can make an impact.
And that's where I'm at. Is there some refinement to the game? Does he necessarily even know how good he could be? Not necessarily. But he has a role.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't remember who put the one out for CBS the other day. They had him going in the 7th round. No.
All right, let's get into the defensive tackles.
There's a name coming here that I have a feeling you've heard a time or two.
Yeah, he's from Northwestern, and his name is Adetomiwa Adebaware.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, still sharpening that knife before draft day.
If there was a guy in this class that I will say I am practically positive he's going to go higher than you think, it would be Adebaware. You just don't see many guys that are this size that can move like this. And I don't really know what happened because, Tank, you can attest to this. I was on him before he ever stepped foot at the combine.
Yep.
And oddly enough, I'm on a lot of Northwestern guys. You'll see another one before this is over, and you'll see another one that started at Northwestern before this is over. Which is weird because the defense was
not good.
It was fine. It's not like they're terrible. It just, you would think if you had 3 of my favorite draft prospects in the same class that it'd be better than that. Also tough when you can't score. I think his best fit is as a 3-4 defensive end. And look, what I'm getting ready to say is going to be high praise. And it's going to ruffle the feathers of some of my fellow draft nerds. I have heard just endless comparisons of Kalijah Cansey to Aaron Donald. I have grizzled at every single one of those. If you told me there was a kid in this class, and I'm not saying he's going to be as good, I'm not saying he's going to be a 2-time defensive player of the year. If you told me there was a kid in this class that I had to compare to Aaron Donald, it would be Adebaware, not Kalijah Cansey. I don't care that they didn't play at the same school. This kid's a freak of nature. Now, is this the most valuable position? Depends on the team. I've long said 18 to the Detroit Lions makes all the sense in the world. Now, do I think their fans would love that? Probably not. I would love it. And I feel like some team is going to get a great value with him. And as somebody that's pretty connected to this team, I would be remiss if I didn't point out, don't be shocked if he ends up with the New York Jets. Don't ask me how it's going to happen, because I don't know. But Joe Douglas defers to hogamollies when he doesn't 100% know what to do, and I know they really like this kid.
Second defensive tackle on the Amon-Ra St. Brown team. Again, these are the guys that Jeremy Greene likes better than the industry in this 2023 NFL draft. Carl Brooks.
I'm going to speak this kid into existence.
Out of Bowling Green.
He gets no love. None. Didn't even get invited to the combine.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, one of my favorite little guilty pleasures is when the combine list comes out. I always look for the first name that I go, wait a minute. How did he not get here? and that would be Carl Brooks for me. He played at a smaller – I mean, he's from Bowling – he went to Bowling Green. I fully believe that if he had played virtually anywhere in the Power 5, we'd be talking about him in the second round. And this is a class where the defensive tackles are terrible. You get past Keanu Benton and a handful of other guys, you get into a whole lot of, hey, he's big. What does he do well? He beats big. He beats big real good. He gets in the way at an elite level.
Mm-hmm.
But what skills does he have? Not applicable. And I just don't have that problem with him. I think he might be a little bit of a tweener because he is the thinnest 300-pound man I have ever seen in my life. I don't remember what, he was doing an interview with somebody, and I couldn't stop staring at, you look about 260. But he hit a scale, he was 303.
Mm-hmm.
So he does have that thin frame. He's not going to be for everybody. It's 4-man front. But I like the kid a lot.
All right, there's your defensive front edge rushers. Yaya Diaby from Louisville, Habakkuk Baldonado from Pittsburgh, and then Adetomiwa Adebawore from Northwestern.
Going to work on that.
This defensive tackle. And the other defensive tackle, Carl Brooks out of Bowling Green.
If you need a real reason to watch the draft, I just want to hear you. I want to just listen to how he said Adetomiwa Adebawore and realize that there's about 20 names like that in day 3 that will be after Tank is no less than 5 domestic lights deep.
100%.
And at that point, it's going to sound like he's doing a breathalyzer test on the side of the road. I swear, I only had 2.
And that's what a lie sounds like. We'll give you the linebacking core for the Amon-Ra St. Brown team up next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow. Future 26 eastbound between Riverside Drive and 240. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound in Haywood County is slow between NC 209 and US 276. Hendersonville Road, north and southbound delays between Overlook Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Sweeten Creek Road, southbound approaching Mills Gap Road, is slow. Merriman Avenue near Edgewood Road in North Asheville delays both directions. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Tyson Furniture.
At Tyson Furniture, we have a huge selection of furniture, honest values, and great service. We are a big store, and Black Mountain has wonderful restaurants and interesting shops to explore. Visit us at Tyson Furniture in Black Mountain, where beautiful homes begin.
Cleaning the inside of your house is easy, but the outside is where most people need a little help. WNC Wash Pros are the highest rated exterior cleaning company in North Carolina with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Whether you need your walkways pressure washed or the outside of the house scrubbed clean, we will kill all organic growth to preserve your paint and extend the life of your roof with our gentle and soft approach. Call us at 828-560-WASH or visit our website at WNCWashPros.com for a free estimate today.
Listening to this station on your free iHeartRadio app could put $5,000 in your pocket.
No way! Are you kidding me?
Open your app and search this station to be instantly qualified for the cash.
Yay! Thank you so much.
Download the free iHeartRadio app for all the music, radio, and podcasts you love.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel vPro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Tide Power Pods have 85% more Tide.
Who needs that much more Tide?
Well, when giving your muddy dog a bath turns into you getting a mud shower. Yikes, you're gonna need more Tide. When your wine tasting becomes a wine spilling. Yeah, you're gonna need more Tide. Or if your favorite shirt is your kid's favorite napkin. Great, I'm gonna need more Tide. My mom gave me that shirt.
It's a mess out there. Tide Power Pods have 85% more Tide versus Tide Pods.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that. And that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home. When it's time to buy, visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
The siren song of the sea beckons with a bounteous treasure and a desire that must be fulfilled.
Here's your seafood order, Mr. Willem.
Well, did you get me wild sashimi tuna?
Yes, sir.
And my Charleston crab cake, bourbon salmon, and wild mahi-mahi with mango salsa?
It's all in the bag.
At Ingles, our extensive seafood department offers a huge variety from your local catch to flavors from around the world. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Yeah!
Every Friday.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling?
Because I love football.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy. The Draftmas season rolls on as we are, 9 days now away from the 2023 NFL Draft?
We're officially at the point of no return. This is the point where I can't figure out if I'm just completely ready for this to be over, and then it gets to like graduation goggles of, no, come back. I know what happens after it's over.
Then it's the dog days.
Oh, then it gets into, should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame? Yes or no? I'll take your answer.
Are we
there.
practicing yet? Do we have off-season programs going on?
Give me something in a pair of shorts. Did somebody go to Utah and run some routes? Let's talk about anything.
We are rolling through the Amon St. Brown team. If you're just joining us, this is the team that Jeremy, the team of guys in the draft that Jeremy likes better than the industry. And it's aptly named after one of his latest home run scouting segments on Amon St. Brown.
Yeah, by the way, if you ever thought, why does he think he's as smart as he is? Do me a favor. Go back and watch, it's at about the 3-hour mark of our live mock draft last year. So one of the games we play during the draft is that I take a certain pick in the draft, and then I pick my guys there.
Mm-hmm.
Go back and look who I took. You'll like the way it looks. I guarantee it, because Tariq Woolen was my 5th-round pick.
And the linebacker core of the Amon St. Brown team this year. First up, Deion Henley out of Washington State.
I want this kid to be a Jets. I bet I can't stand it. Like, that is who I want. Joe, okay. He's probably my favorite linebacker in this class. Now, is he as good as Jack Campbell? No, probably not. I would say Trenton Simpson's probably got a higher high side, maybe. But this kid plays like his hair is on fire. And he's one of those that does that, and it doesn't put him out of position all that often. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't point out he played in the Pac-12. Not exactly a bastion of offensive football, but he shines on tape to me to such a point, and he has screamed up boards. I don't think he's going to go in the first round. I will be shocked if he lasts past 50. And if he does, somebody's getting one of the best values of the draft.
Right. Because
he's good against the run, he's good in coverage. Now, can all of it be made better? Sure. But in space, which is what I'm looking for out of a linebacker.
So you're hoping he falls to your back-to-back picks at the top of the 6th or top of the 2nd round.
Let me put it this way. If the Jets make both of those back-to-back picks, and you're watching our live right here on YouTube, unfortunately we'll not be on ESPN Radio Live for that, but you can find us on the YouTubes if you listen to us terrestrially. And my team makes both of those selections, and one of them is not Deion Henley, and he's still on the board. You'll hear me say probably every obscenity known to man back-to-back, because I will be real angry. Probably my ideal scenario for how this goes is Adebawore, and yeah, I'd take him at 13. Schmitz, Deion Henley. We walk away with that. I don't care if they start taking kickers in the 4th. I could care less.
13's a little high for him, isn't it?
Adebawore?
Yeah.
Not for me, but, I'm a different kind of guy, and I don't necessarily feel the burning urge to take a tackle for the 47th out of the last 50 years.
All right, Deion Henley, Washington State. Then Dorian Williams out of Tulane.
All right. Now, what I just said about Deion Henley, that he plays like his hair's on fire and he never gets out of position. Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to say that about a guy that's way faster. This is one of the fastest linebackers I've ever seen. And it does get him in trouble from time to time. He played on a pretty good defense at Tulane. And I fully believe he was one of the biggest reasons for that. I just like him. You know, Dorian Williams is one of those players that, is he raw? Absolutely. I would say among the linebackers in this class, he's probably not in the top 15 in terms of outright production. And then I keep looking at the combine line because I liked him anyway. Then he ran a 4.49 at 6'1", 230 pounds. Mm-hmm. He'd have been a safety in the NFL 5 years ago. I fully believe that. But just with where you are, and then I've heard a lot of unbelievable stories about him and things that he did around Tulane and how much everybody likes him. You'll learn, if you're new to our draft coverage, you'll learn those character issue guys. As soon as I start hearing that, you start falling like a rock. I hate the bad apple. Unless you're just special. You get into that second, third round, and you start telling me about character red flags, you end up in the 5th or 6th round for me fast.
Right.
And Dorian Williams does not have that problem. He's just hyper athletic. The only thing is I would like to see him play as fast as he tests because he doesn't always do that. And it's not a motor thing. I don't think he trusts his eyes as much as he needs to. As you get to the league and you have that second of hesitation, I don't really care how fast you are because the guy you're trying to catch is every bit as fast as you are.
Right.
Not a whole lot of 4.8s among weapons in the NFL. So you start having the stutter step, which he did not a ton, but enough for me to go, okay, push you. Because to me, I think he will go at the back of day 2, probably that 3rd round range. I would take him a little higher than that. And he may fall into the 3rd day.
Right.
And if he does, somebody's
so this is just a guy that you can add to your roster. You can, put him through the paces with your coaches and develop his vision a little bit. And he should be, what, a solid starter?
I think he can be a starter in the league. This is one of those guys, and I didn't start doing this until this team kept hitting these guys. This is one of those players that San Francisco will take. You don't hear, even unless you are the most diehard San Francisco fan on the planet, you won't hear a thing about him for a year. And then 2 years from now, you go, hey, when did we get that guy? Because he's really good.
Like Hufanga?
Yep. That's a good example. Drake Jackson next year is going to be a really good example.
Yeah.
He only played 140 snaps this year.
Just wait.
Yeah. Give it a minute. There's a reason we don't regrade drafts the next year.
All right, the final linebacker for the Amon St. Brown team.
Now, I cheated a little bit here because this guy's not really a linebacker.
Okay.
I'm just projecting him as a 3-4 outside linebacker in the NFL.
All right, from Florida A&M.
Isaiah Land. Just sheer tape. Now, you got to understand, he is playing at a much lower level of competition than, guys like Will McDonald or guys that are playing the Power 5. I don't think I've ever seen anybody block him consistently. And it didn't really matter. I mean, he's been the best pass rusher in 1AA football for 2 solid years. The reason I think he's being pushed down is because you didn't see that jump step last year. He was probably better the year before. But, man, that good is good. I mean, it's 19 sacks in a season. You just don't see many guys do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was Lance's Erline that said this when he evaluated him. It's video game production. This literally looks like a guy you created on Madden, and you just went, hey, how many tackles for loss can I get with one guy? Now, is he going to need some help at the next level? No doubt. Because I'm not sure that he's ever really good against the run. I don't think he'll be a liability, but he is thin. 236 pounds for an edge rusher. although there's about 9 of those in this class. So you keep doing that. Put 10 guys in the league every year that are under 240 pounds. The next thing you know, half the edge rushers in the league are 240 or lighter. And we've done this for about 3 years now. So I think he fits the league the way it is right now. And somebody is going to take the raw of him and turn it into it might be just a situational pass rusher. Just the guy that comes in on third down and see ball, get ball. But I love the kid, and I have seen nothing to suggest to me that he's not going to be a good player in the NFL. If I had to bet a player that I end up taking with one of those picks that we do during the draft, I would bet on Isaiah Lynn. Because I have this funny feeling he's going to be sitting there in the 6th round, and I'm just going to go, okay, I'm done playing. Come on. And a year from now, you go, oh, yeah, that was pretty wise.
It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville at ESPN Draft Nerd. Jeremy Greene, that is the handle on Twitter. You can shout out all your meanness and hatred and all of that at him on Twitter.
That's fine.
He can take it. He's a big boy.
Yeah, I've got pretty thick skin.
We're rolling through the Amon-Ra St. Brown team. This is who Jeremy likes better than the rest of the industry in this upcoming draft class. We will have every pick at the draft covered live on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Beautiful weather continues here in the Carolinas with low humidity again tonight and temps in the low to mid 40s. We do warm things up with south winds returning to Asheville midweek. 81 degrees tomorrow, 81 on Thursday, close to 80 on Friday. Our next front coming in Saturday. Some half-inch rains on Saturday and a high near 60 degrees, cooler Saturday night, Sunday. I'm meteorologist Scott Laria-Moore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Drive is slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 240 eastbound slow between exit 3 and exit 4A. Future 26 eastbound crawling between the Woodfin area, Elk Mountain Road, and 240. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Near Avery Creek, Pavard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. Hendersonville Road, north and southbound delays between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Overlook Road. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. In North Asheville, Merriman Avenue, north and southbound near Edgewood Road, delays. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Brakes for Less.
Brakes for Less is what we do. We know drums, rotors, pads, and shoes. It doesn't matter what kind of car you got. Call 888-261-STOP. All we do are Brakes for Less.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Ricardo, quote, "This is one of the greatest inventions ever. I know this may sound like I'm exaggerating, but this sucker is amazing. The first time I did it, I couldn't believe what came out of my sinuses. I could breathe with ease. My wife just bought one too. Thank you for this product," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Spring in the South means the return of Atlanta Braves baseball.
There's a liner out towards center field. It will lay down. Here comes Ronald. Braves win it.
The 2023 Braves load up for another huge season.
The Braves play here on ESPN Asheville.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people.
I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina.
Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, and so they do things differently in other countries than we do here in America, and sometimes,
which is ironic because I know your story and I know mine, and ain't that different?
Ain't that different? Mm-mm. Well, okay.
It will never cease to amaze me how we do not ever ask what the story is for that segment until the commercial beforehand. It is staggering how often his story and mine are in the same territory.
Right. They kind of align each other. New Zealand has a real bad problem with feral cats, destroying the ecosystem and all of this. And this has been an ongoing problem for years. To the point where one of the examples given in this story was that 10 years ago in one of the big political races there, one of the main debate points was how are we going to get rid of all of these feral cats that we have? Well, some genius has come up with an idea that would never fly in the United States of America. They're having a competition to see who can kill the most feral cats. Now, it's not just anybody open in this contest. This contest is not open just for anybody. It's for children 14 years and younger.
That seems like a bad idea.
The North Canterbury Hunting Competition has announced a new category where children 14 and under will hunt feral cats for the possibility of a $250 prize. Prospective entrants were warned, though, that if you kill a cat, and you have to kill the cat, bring the body to the officials, and then the officials will examine the cat. And if you kill somebody's pet that has been microchipped, your entire entry is scrubbed from the contest. Now, how am I supposed to know?
I have.
This is what I want to know.
I've been saying it the whole time you've been saying this.
Okay, so there was a time where I was a 14, 13-year-old boy.
Uh-oh, he's about to admit to crimes,
who had an air rifle, and I would have been interested in some kind of a contest like this. I mean, as long as it helps out Mother Nature. It's all for the good of the planet, right? We're trying to save the ecosystem, so let's go kill some cats. But how am I supposed to know?
You're not.
Now, obviously, animal rights activists in New Zealand are very upset about this, and they say that this new rule that they put in place it's too little too late. Well, obviously. I mean, it's like rabies. Like if you don't have a pet that has up on their rabies vaccinations and they think that the animal might have it, do you know how they test for it?
They have to kill it, don't they?
Yeah. They have to chop its head off and examine its brain.
Yeah, that's the only way to test for that.
Too little, too late, right? Same scenario here. But could you imagine like someplace in like Meridian, Mississippi comes out with a contest where they're going to kill all of the feral cats? You would have protesters lined up every block of that city. You would never get away with this in America.
So ironic that you ended your story that way, because my story is from New York City. Eric Adams is the mayor of New York. This is now the third story I've told that is kind of in the same vein.
Mm-hmm.
He has had, a slew of problems as mayor of New York, but as you do. One of the biggest ones that he's currently come up with no plan for is that they have a massive rat problem in New York. He was fined for something to do. I can't remember exactly what he did, but there were rats around his property, and he was not doing the things to keep them away.
Right.
Well, he has now completely set his sights on the rats to the point of he has hired, and I swear to you this is the name, a new rat czar for New York City. Now,
is it Mike Krzyzewski?
It is
I'm
not.
sorry I had to do it.
Duke fans, you can find him at Sports Take ESPN. Would you care to guess how they found this person? How do you think the government would hire a rat czar?
Essay contest.
Nope, but almost equally stupid. They put a listing on Indeed.com.
Okay.
And here's what it said. The city advertised in the Help Wanted ad seeking applicants who are bloodthirsty, possess killer instincts, and would commit to the wholesale slaughter of rats.
Nice.
That's a direct quote from the listing. Now, you would think when they introduced the new rat czar that it would be somebody, and I'm not trying to be stereotypical here, that looked like me. Okay? That's when I hear rat czar, you've hired somebody to come in and just eradicate feral varmints. I would think it's somebody like me. Very stereotypical New York fashion. What do you think the previous job of the person they hired was?
Taxi driver.
Nope. This woman's name is Kathleen Karate. Not like Judy Chuck Karate, like Corradi. She was an elementary school teacher. In the opening little rant when they brought her out, she said, when I first saw this job posting, I wasn't sure if it was real. Bloodthirsty is not a word you usually see in a job description, and it's certainly not a word I usually use to describe myself. Okay. I know that we make a lot of fun of Florida and Texas and California and New York and Chicago because these are major cities where people say things and they're really stupid and nobody ever goes, hey, that's really stupid. If you need to eradicate large numbers of varmints, I think former elementary school teacher would be, I don't know that that's what I'm looking for. I'm thinking somebody like me that will work for free domestic lights and maybe has a plan. Do you realize how many things they've tried to eradicate this problem? They've had 3.2 million rat sightings this year.
That seems like a lowball number. For New York?
It's April 18th.
I don't care. 3 million?
Well, I mean,
you'd see that in a day.
That's what was called into the city's 311 service. They have now commissioned a new,
right? Because who reports rat sightings in New York? The only time you would report a rat sighting in New York is if you were going to be able to go viral with the. Remember the video of the rat carrying a pizza?
Oh, yeah. In New York, trust me, I've been to New York a bunch of times. You'll see some rats that I'm pretty sure can carry a Volvo if they got enough of their friends.
That's what I'm saying. That's the only time that becomes worth reporting.
They have commissioned a new rat mitigation zone task force where the city will invest $3.5 million to the eradication of rats, employing 19 full-time and 14 seasonal employees.
Wow.
Okay.
Better plan?
This is I know what you're going to say. You cannot, I don't think you can say what you're going to say. Tell me it's time to find somewhere new to live when you need 34 employees to eradicate your rat problem.
Right. I was going to say better plan would be find a group of hunters, outdoorsy type people. Give them $1 a rat. Dollar a rat. You got what'd you say, 3.5 million reports of rat sightings in 4 months?
Hey, and you're paying $3.5 million for the study.
Exactly.
That maths.
Right. You save on the expense of all of the salaries and stuff. Just pay $1 a rat.
Silver in our YouTube comments said you just need to find one Dale Gribble. That might be the comment of the day.
Absolutely. Of course, you don't want to screw up the ecosystem too much there in New York. You don't want to get rid of too many rats.
I mean, I actually think half the city's built on rats. So, frankly, in my mind, you need one guy wearing a pair of aviator sunglasses with a heater hanging out of his mouth. Take care of it with some pocket sand.
It's not aviators either.
Oh, it's 100%
No,
aviators.
it's pit vipers.
No, the pit viper guy's going to end up drinking domestic lights with the rats. You need somebody that's here to party.
To do business.
Yeah,
right.
It's business time.
It's business time.
It's business time.
And I got my business socks on.
That's exactly right.
Oh, God. It is the Sportsocracy, and this show gets stupider 100%. By the moment.
Nobody ever walks away and goes, I feel so much smarter after listening to those two morons.
We have a super chat in the YouTube comments. Soaring Eagle, 175.
Oh, yeah, that is.
I'm your huckleberry.
I'm not the rat czar, but I am the button czar.
You are. He says, I have the 3rd overall pick in a rookie fantasy draft, and I'm locked in on a wide receiver. Do I take Jackson Smith and Jigba or Quentin Johnston there? He says, personally, he's set on Quentin Johnston.
Depends on where they go. So as our draft coverage unfolds, and we will be live for all 7 rounds of the 2023 NFL Draft, and let's set the pick where Tank just officially goes full, and to Jeremy we go.
17.
If I'd have said that, it'd have been mean.
Yeah.
No, you usually hang into you get to about 113 before, which is this year it's the 9th pick of the 3rd day.
Yeah.
Before you go, and back to you.
And here we go. Tell them what you got, Flostradamus.
But as we go, when position players are drafted and different impactful things, we'll let you know those things as we go, and then we will obviously have all of your fantasy football information. We will be unveiling a new contest, much like our Battle for the Belt last year. It's Battle for the Belt 2, y'all. We'll be unveiling that in June. So trust me, we'll make sure you are
absolutely
completely ready for whoever.
Absolutely. It all depends on where they go, what scheme they fit into, how they're going to be used, who their quarterback is. I mean, because I like Quentin Johnston.
I do too.
And I would like him for fantasy purposes, but I'm not real sure if I'd like him as much if he ended up in Houston.
Yeah, anybody that ends up in Houston, no.
Right. Might like him next year.
Yeah.
Once they get Caleb Williams or whoever.
Unless they decide to go, hey, we didn't get a quarterback. We need to trade up and get Hendon Hooker, which would be the most Houston thing in the history of time.
It would indeed. You are in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. We will give you the secondary of the Amon St. Brown team coming up next. These are all the guys in the draft that Jeremy likes better than the industry.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Light delays 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 240 eastbound slow between exit 3 and exit 4A. Future 26 eastbound crawling beginning in the Woodfin area near Elk Mountain Road and continuing to 240. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway near North Asheville, Merriman Avenue north and southbound near Edgewood Road. Delays. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road, southbound, slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Overlook Road. NC Highway Patrol reporting north of Clyde, Rush Fork Road at Zephy Springs Road, an incident, congestion here. I'm Lee Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Brakes for Less.
Brakes for Less is what we do. We know drums, rotors, pads, and shoes. It doesn't matter what kind of car you got. Call 888-261-STOP. All we do
are Brakes for Less.
Dr. Rick here. With another telltale sign you're turning into your parents. Getting particular about your drive-thru order.
Don't pull away yet. I like to check the bag because one time they forgot to give me extra ketchup.
People are waiting.
I'm only seeing 4 nuggets. Wait, nope, there's 5.
Progressive can't help you from becoming your parents, but we can help you compare rates on home insurance with Home Quote Explorer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Wait, aren't these all charitable donations?
At Magda's Tax Prep, every person counts.
I'd rather not have to file for an extension.
She needs new auditors to maximize returns on her family time.
On itemized deductions. Hey, can someone help with these 1099s?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
What's up? I'm Tyrese Maxey, 21st overall pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, a guard for the Philadelphia 76ers, and I'm doing my very first podcast, Maxey on the Mic.
Tyrese!
We'll talk about games, catch up with some of my favorite NBA players, talk travel, food, music, who knows what else. Listen to Maxey on the Mic on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you go to get your podcast.
The siren song of the sea beckons with a bounteous treasure and a desire that must be fulfilled.
At Ingles, our extensive seafood department offers a huge variety from your local catch to flavors from around the world. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Running a small business is no small task. At Home Trust Bank, we work hard to prepare businesses for whatever tomorrow may bring. Your dreams are our business, and we have local experts who can help you plan for a successful future. Dependable guidance you need and service you'll appreciate. At Home Trust Bank, we take your small business banking personally. Visit your local Home Trust branch or anytime at htb.com. Member FDIC.
The Sportsocracy.
You were just dumber than a bag of hammers.
Back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, leading up to the 2023 NFL Draft. All picks covered live in the Sportsocracy. Get with us on YouTube so you can follow us for all 3 days of the draft, as we'll be coming to you from the Ingles Studio. And
if you couldn't care less about the draft, at the start of the next hour, we have something to reward you for hanging in with us, and you're going to be able to put rubber to the road.
We're going over the AMON St. Brown team, formerly the Chase Claypool team, the Michael Pittman team. Now it's the AMON St. Brown team. These are the guys in the draft class that Jeremy likes better than the industry.
Here's to hoping that we can break a trend, and this list can be called the same thing next year that has been called in previous years.
We did the offense yesterday. Today we're rolling through the defense, and it's time to talk about the secondary. Corners for the AMON St. Brown team. Start off with Emmanuel Forbes out of Mississippi State.
I really need him to eat a cheeseburger, like immediately. He weighs 166 pounds. That is going to be I'm going to say that's going to be a bit of an issue in the NFL. But then again, I said the same thing about Cordell Flott, and, I mean, he survived, and he was nowhere near the corner that Emmanuel Forbes is. I think in terms of just sheer coverage, he might be the best player in this draft. If he was built like Christian Gonzalez, especially after he ran a 4.35, I think we would be talking about him in that top 15 range. But it's the size that really bothers people. It doesn't take me off of it, and I won't be shocked if he goes in the first round. There's a whole world where that could happen. I just think there's I'll say there's a better than zero chance that he's been passed by at least one or two guys, and one of them might be the next one on the list.
Julius Brents, Kansas State.
I struggled with putting him on this list because I keep seeing him in the first round, and okay, now I don't like him better than the industry does. I have a right at a back end of the first round, beginning of the second round grade on him. He's 6'3", really long, kind of reminds me of a couple corners I liked last year that were taller than the average corner, really long arms, and weird. Tariq Woolen and Sauce Gardner wound up being pretty good.
Right.
There is a narrative that he has to play zone, and I don't agree with that. It's just that some of the worst plays of his were he got into press, he got beaten by somebody that was faster than him, and then you get him in a foot race, and he's going to lose that. Because he's 6'3". I mean, he runs in the 4.5s, but you catch one of these Tyreek Hill level burners, yeah, they're going to cook him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you put him in somewhere like your Tampa Bay Buccaneers where it's read and react. You're playing a lot of zone. I've liked him with Pittsburgh for as long as I can remember. I just don't know that he's going to be there. And I think he can be high level. Feels like the industry's caught up. I almost didn't put him on the list, but I've been on him for so long that I couldn't help but do it.
And then there's Cameron Mitchell.
Now, this one is – I put corner on the screen. I don't necessarily know the 3 plays. He's going to play that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Tyrann Mathieu move. He plays in the slot. He plays some safety. He's only 5'11", and I don't think he can hold up on the outside, but he can do all of those other things I just said. And he is just ridiculously talented. If you notice, a lot of the guys that wind up on this list, they have either a size concern or a speed. And a lot of times I just lean on, what does the tape tell me? Are you an NFL player, yes or no? I mean, it's not rocket surgery. We're not out here committing. We're not out here performing open heart surgery or something can you play, yes or no? And this kid, it's really obvious when I put the tape on, yeah, he can play. Now, are you going to have to kind of baby him because he's not going to be able to do everything? Yeah, that's why you're not taking him in the first round. If a guy can do everything, he's going in the first round. So it gets into what everybody has warts from 15 on. So it's a question, which ones can you live with? And Cameron Mitchell, I'm going to find a role. It may be a little trial and error, but when I find it, I'm going to be just fine.
All right, and finally at safety, Brandon Joseph out of Notre Dame.
You remember last year there was a safety that came out of Notre Dame, and he didn't run all that fast, and I was just hammered on him.
Mm-hmm.
That was Kyle Hamilton. Brandon Joseph is Kyle Hamilton if you ordered him on Wish. He ran a 4.62 at 6 foot 202. All right, so in a straight foot race, yeah, I don't love him. But then I watched the tape. And he's been pushed now to a point where we could still be talking about him in the 5th or the 6th round in a class where safety is awful. You do remember he was a back end of the first round guy going into this year at Notre Dame. Did he fit there perfectly? No. I go back to the Northwestern tape. I see the guy that I would be taking now. I would be very hard pressed to let him go by me in the 4th round because safety is awful, and I know he can play.
Bob Brown in the YouTube comments says Mitchell is the joker position.
Correct. We haven't come up with a name for that because joker is technically
linebacker safety,
and he ain't a linebacker.
Right. This is a corner safety, not a linebacker safety.
Yeah, I think I'm going to start calling that the honey badger because Tyrann Mathieu was the first one to do it, and we seem to really like naming them after animals.
Not bad. Not bad. This is the Sportsocracy, and it is ESPN Asheville Sports Center update. Coming up in just a few moments, and then when we come back from the break, it'll be time for the daily draft, where we'll go stock up, stock down ahead of the draft.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Beautiful weather continues here in the Carolinas with low humidity again tonight and temps in the low to mid-40s. We do warm things up with south winds returning to Asheville midweek. 81 degrees tomorrow, 81 on Thursday, close to 80 on Friday. Our next front coming in Saturday. Some half-inch rains on Saturday and a high near 60 degrees, cooler Saturday night, Sunday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Light delays 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 240 eastbound slow between exit 3 and exit 4A. Future 26 eastbound crawling beginning in the Woodfin area near Elk Mountain Road and continuing to 240. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Near North Asheville, Merriman Avenue north and southbound near Edgewood Road, delays. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road, southbound, slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Overlook Road. NC Highway Patrol reporting north of Clyde, Rush Fork Road at Zephy Springs Road, an incident, congestion here. I'm Lynn Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. At Blindster, we offer over 50 different custom window treatments, including faux wood blinds and shutters, all at prices less than retail. Plus, we'll send you free samples before you buy. Don't hire an expensive pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com. Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Shopping for new blinds? At Blindster, we offer over 50 different blinds, shades, and shutters at low prices, custom made for your windows, and shipping is free. Shop at home and order 10 free samples of any product before you buy. Blindster.com.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
I'm Christine Lisi. A declaration today from Bills safety Damar Hamlin that he's ready to resume playing football. Hamlin spoke at a news conference at the team's facility for the first time since going into cardiac arrest during a game January 2nd. He said the event was life-changing, but is not the end of his story. His heart's still in the game. Hamlin's gotten full clearance from 3 specialists that he can resume playing without fear of setbacks or complications, explains Buffalo GM Brandon Beane.
They're all in lockstep of what this was, and that he is cleared, resumed full activities just like anyone else who was coming back from an injury or whatever. So he's fully cleared, he's here, and he is of the mindset, he's in a great headspace to come back and make his return.
From ESPN's Tim McManus, Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts had minor surgery on his right ankle this offseason. He will be a full participant in Philly's offseason program. NBA playoffs, Bucks power forward Giannis Antetokounmpo did not practice today due to a back contusion. Team optimistic about his status for Game 2 tomorrow against the Heat. Yankees manager Aaron Boone said today Giancarlo Stanton's likely out 6 weeks with a strained hamstring.
When you're trying to hire and fill open jobs, the searching, screening, and interviewing can become its own job. You need Indeed, their powerful hiring platform that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, cash. That's cash. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy, heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, and join us in the chat each and every day. Plus, of course, all of our videos will be popping up in your feed. Once you're subscribed to the channel, you get all of the A-plus 7-round mock drafts. We got the Carolina Panthers coming out immediately following this show on the YouTube stream. We'll have the Chicago Bears coming your way later on this evening as well. And we will continue to do this for each and every team leading up to next week's mock draft, which will be Flostradamus Jeremy Greene's full prognostication 7 rounds.
And if you've been listening to us for the last few weeks going, why are these two idiots druthering on about the NFL draft? Well, go to our YouTube page. You will see why. Because it has been made abundantly clear that is what we do. Now, if you're not into the draft, the night of the draft, April 27th, there is a concert at Thomas Wolfe Auditorium, and it is Brett Young. If you don't know who that is, he is a fantastic country singer. He actually sings one of the songs that is in my wedding, in case you didn't know. It's a wonderful love song. This guy was actually he was drafted twice as a minor league baseball pitcher. We're efforting getting him on the show. He's a really interesting guy. But if you have absolutely no interest in the draft and you're looking for something else to do, we're going to be running a social media contest to give away tickets to this show. And you'll have to go to the Facebook page, go to the Instagram after the show. You'll see all the things you do. So if you're like, you know what? I'm tired of hearing the draft, but I don't want to listen to anything else. We're going to give you a chance to be rewarded for your patience.
We are 9 days away from the NFL draft. Every pick will be covered live on the YouTube channel by us all 3 days. And yes, there will come a point where I will just go hands off. I'll read some names and just go, okay, Jeremy, now you have to tell us who this guy is. Because I've never heard that name before. We're still going through draft profiles, and we ran across a name in a mock draft yesterday that Jeremy barely knew.
I knew who it was, but I didn't have a whole lot of insight.
Exactly. You get down to the 7th round, you're going to have a lot of that.
Not as much from me, but from you it'll be, and back to you.
That'll start in the 4th round, if not sooner.
I was about to say, that's a weird way to say the second. Consider ourselves lucky if that doesn't happen in the 1st round.
Indeed. All right, it is the top of the 3rd hour of the program. Time for the daily draft. And we'll go stock up, stock down 9 days before the NFL draft. You got first pick or I got first pick?
That's totally up to you. I always defer draft things to you. If you want to go first, if there's two you want, because I'll go ahead and tell you, you're not taking who I'm taking first.
Okay.
Mine is a stock down that I am not 100% sure I have ever seen the likes of.
Okay, go ahead. Give it to us.
It's Kayshon Boutte. I have never in my life seen a guy fall off the world like this. Even guys in the past where, okay, he'll be the first receiver taken, which is where we were with Kayshon Boutte. It was him and Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yep.
There is a possibility that he doesn't even get drafted. That's how far down the board he's fallen. Now, you can also go to DraftKings and get him at plus 25,000 to be the number 1 overall pick if you want to set money on fire. Because that's literally, if you're going to do that, just super chat it to us. We'll allocate it to the Domestic Light Fund, and we will thank you with all of our sincerest honesty.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it.
He was supposed to be a top 10 pick at one point.
He was a top 10 pick before going into the season, had a terrible year at LSU, then says he's coming back, to which LSU said, no, you're not. You declare for the draft, you transfer somewhere else. We can't tell you where you're going to play, but we can totally tell you where you're not going to play.
Right.
And that's right here.
Right.
Then he has a combine workout that is, I mean, it was like a horror show. Slow. I think his vert was like 30 inches or 20. I think it's 29 and a half inches, which just for point of comparison, that's about what mine is at this point. At 6'4", 260 pounds, and I broke my foot not too terribly long ago. So that's where we're at with where Kayshon Boutte is.
Mm-hmm.
In my 7-round mock draft, he is in the 7th round, and it took everything in my power to even get him in.
Wow. And at that point, it could be one of those situations where he just says, don't draft me.
Oh, no doubt.
And becomes a UDFA.
Secret time, every player that's drafted in the 7th round at some point has said, don't draft me. Let me pick where I go.
Right.
Nobody is overjoyed to be selected in the 7th round.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's still a great day, and well, I wish I could have picked where I'm going.
At one time, I thought Kayshon Boutte was going to be a great receiver in this league. It doesn't look good. Does he still have the potential in him? I believe he does. But the attitude...
It's a very specific fit. Bill Where's My Check said, so he'll be a Patriot.
Could be.
That you did it that time.
3rd round.
All right. Oh, please don't take him in the 3rd round.
Okay, so Kayshon Boutte. I got to go with a stock up, and I'm going to go Tyree Wilson. For what we talked about earlier today, apparently the Houston Texans are absolutely in love with Tyree Wilson, and if they can't trade down from 2, the word is that they might consider drafting him at 2.
He's under plus 200 to go 2nd.
Yikes.
He's gone down 50 points since the show started.
So Vegas hears it as well.
He is now more likely to go at 2 than everybody not named Will Anderson. which was he was the overwhelming favorite 3 days ago. C.J. Stroud's had a little movement upwards, too, and I don't know
And
why.
this is the edge rusher out of Texas Tech that just, I mean, to me, nothing screamed top 5 pick to me about him.
Top 5 is probably a little high, but I've said this is not a great draft. So, I mean, I understood why he was going that high. The good is really good.
Mm-hmm.
2 is insane.
So it'll be a major mistake.
No doubt.
If Houston takes him at 2.
And what a shock. It will be the Houston Texans doing it.
I'm going to go for a stock up here. A guy whose name I am starting to see more and more in mock drafts at the back end of the first round. It's the wide receiver out of Ole Miss, Jonathan Mingo.
As well you should.
We have not talked about him a whole lot during this process. It's not to say that Jeremy doesn't like him as a prospect.
No, I like him a lot.
Right. But why the sudden push?
I think you have to be careful with what you hear, because the media gets narratives in their heads, and yes, we're as susceptible as that as anybody, even though we're draft guys.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get a guy like Mingo that basically everything I'd heard was he's going to be back into the second round. Then you start hearing, well, Zay Flowers is falling, and Jordan Addison's falling, and Quentin Johnston's falling. Okay, well, you're telling me there's going to be one receiver taken in the first round? I call shenanigans. And then you start reading the tea leaves going, okay, so now I'm hearing all this positive about Mingo, and everybody's dinging these other guys. Okay, Mingo's going higher than we think. I liked him the entire time because I don't love little 5'8", 160-pound receivers. But we probably had not talked about him as much as we should have.
Mm-hmm.
My second stock down is every quarterback not named Bryce Young. One of them's going to the Indianapolis Colts. There is a possibility that we go full Pandelirium after about the 6th pick. Because there is a chance. Will Levis is going at 4. If you don't believe me, go look at the betting markets. Vegas has gold fixtures for a reason. There's a possibility that C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson start falling, and one of them falls all the way to Tennessee. And the other falls past that. That is in the range of possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think that's where you would start probably getting trade calls. I just can't figure out from where. Baltimore makes sense. Tennessee makes sense. A few others, I guess, make some vague sense. But you got a lot of teams that are really desperate to trade down because they don't love the value at the top. And then you get a couple prospects that are quarterbacks start falling. That's where things get very cattywampus. Such a great word.
It should definitely be added to the Appalachian Dictionary, if it's not already.
Oh, I'm sure it's already there. Now, I have no idea how to spell it, but it's a formidable word. I'm going to take, you know what, my other one, I've gone 2 stock downs. I got to go stock up.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is, maybe I'm doing this selfishly because I've liked him a lot. I've said his name a lot. And now there's a movement in the betting markets that's telling me, okay, we may have had this wrong the entire time. It's Devin Witherspoon, the corner out of Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas really wants you to think he's going 6 to Detroit. And they are hedging their bets aggressively that that's what's going to happen. And that's one of those anomalies. And so I'm going to teach you a quick little trick before we have to take commercial here. I'm going to teach you a quick little trick of how you can take betting markets to figure things like this out. There's a player prop on virtually everybody. One of them is spot. Now, that doesn't happen for just any player because especially if you get out of the top 25, it's so volatile that I don't know exactly where they're going to fall in. I'll use a guy you just said, Jonathan Mingo. He could go 26. He could go 56. Neither one surprises me in any way because once you get that far, it's so volatile what happens in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
You get guys in the top 15 that they set the over-under on a specific spot, which with Devin Witherspoon, it's been set at 6.5 for the better part of the last week. Well, who picked 6? It's the Detroit Lions. Detroit needs a corner. depending on how you view them. His line's been under 6.5 forever. In the last 24 hours, it has moved to 7, which is where the Las Vegas Raiders are. And the line is outrageous if you're willing to go over it. What that means is that somebody in Vegas somewhere has a little inside the building source that has talked to the Raiders and said, if the Lions pass on him, we're taking him at 7. Because they have no liability now. Tyree Wilson's going to be gone. Jalen Carter's probably going to be gone. Will Anderson's going to be gone. So now rubber's met the road, and you start getting these guys behind closed doors that start telling you the truth. Devin Witherspoon's going to the top 7 of this draft. It's just a question of if it's to the Lions or if it's to the Raiders. I think the only factor there will be, do the Lions get stuck at 6? If they do, they'll take Witherspoon. And is Jalen Carter there? Because if he is, I'm starting to think Detroit would take him.
Mm-hmm.
But you can watch these odds. If you remember, I did this last year with Trayvon Walker. Now, I was a month ahead of it, which made several wise listeners of the show, including myself, whole mess of money. Now you're starting to get to, there's no smoke. Vegas does not play around with their money. And Devin Witherspoon's going to go higher than we thought. Which leads into a player that I will take if you don't before this is all said and done.
You are in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, the daily draft today. Stock up, stock down. It's all about NFL Draft Stock Watch here in the Sportsocracy. We'll be right back.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Drive is slow, 240 eastbound between exit 3 and exit 4A. Future 26 eastbound crawling approaching Woodfin near Elk Mountain Road, continuing to 240 due to an accident. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road southbound delays between Biltmore Forest and Overlook Road. Near Avery Creek, light delays Brevard Road northbound, approaching Long Shoals Road. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. You do anything to keep your vehicle happy. Let's make sure it stays running smoothly. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, the right parts are just a click away. When you see the green check, you know that part will fit. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
2 NBA insiders podcasting twice a week to plug you right into the NBA grapevine.
All happening in only one place. This League Uncut. The new NBA podcast with me, Chris Haynes.
And me, Mark Stein.
Join us as we team up to expound on everything we're covering, hearing, and chasing.
Listen to This League Uncut with Chris Haynes and Mark Stein
on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast.
Cleaning the inside of your house is easy, but the outside is where most people need a little help. WNC Wash Pros are the highest rated exterior cleaning company in North Carolina with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Whether you need your walkways pressure washed or the outside of the house scrubbed clean, we will kill all organic growth to preserve your paint and extend the life of your roof with our gentle and soft approach. Call us at 828-560-WASH or visit our website at WNCWashPros.com for a free estimate today.
The new Rock 105.1, Asheville's Real Rock.
Let's rock.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
The siren song of the sea beckons with a bounteous treasure and a desire that must be fulfilled.
Here's your seafood order, Mr. Willow.
Well, did you get me wild sashimi tuna?
Yes, sir.
And my Charleston crab cake, bourbon salmon, and wild mahi-mahi with mango salsa?
It's all in the bag.
At Ingles, our extensive seafood department offers a huge variety from your local catch to flavors from around the world. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Yeah!
Every Friday.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people.
I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina.
Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cott?
It is the Sportsocracy, and we're in the middle of the daily draft, and we're talking about the NFL draft on today's daily draft.
Now, what else would you like us to talk about? The NBA playoffs.
Yeah, let's talk more about Russell Westbrook breaking into suites to verbally abuse fans, or Draymond Green stomping on Domantas Sabonis,
Or the Los Angeles Angels bullpen. Riveting.
Or the biggest question of the NBA playoffs and the end of the NBA season.
Is anybody watching this?
I was going to say, who in the bleep is Austin Reeves?
Yeah, he's a dog.
He is.
He's a dog.
He's an absolute dog. Came out of nowhere. A little bit of a Cinderella story. Anyhow, back into the daily draft here. Stock up, stock down with 9 days to go before the draft. What prospects are climbing or falling? And I've done 2 stock ups with Tyree Wilson possibly now rumored to go number 2. Jonathan Mingo getting some chatter at the back end of the first round. Here's another guy that I don't really know how much on the radar he was prior to the season in all of the mock drafts. But lately, Darnell Wright has been screaming up draft boards, or at least there's a lot of talk about him.
I had Darnell Wright just outside of the top 100 coming into the year because he had switched to the left side, and he was not as good there. Then he shows up in the first game for Tennessee like, hey, I'm back on the right, and he was a dog. The problem with him is, how do you value right tackles? And we do this every year. We fall into this thought, and I'm talking about as media, not as drafty people, that teams don't value right tackles at all. It has been debunked time after time after time, and yet we fall into it every year. I would say Darnell Wright, I struggle to believe he's going to get out of the top 20. I would say top 25 is his floor.
Okay, now let's switch to a stock down. I do need to go to the negative side here for a moment.
Before you move off Darnell Wright, the testing on him is what sent him through the roof. He was probably right there at the beginning of the second round. Then he tested just through the roof, and everybody that's talked to him has liked him. And that's what surged him up into the – I would say he's worth talking about at 15 to Green Bay.
It started getting loud around him right after the Senior Bowl, after he goes to Mobile and has good one-on-one workouts and such. But it seems like it's only building the closer we get to the draft. Stock down, Keely Ringo from Georgia.
You had to get your Georgia.
I had to get him in there because
it just breaks your heart that we all look at him and go, I know exactly what you are.
And is that it? Is that you just look at him and go, you'll never be you'll never be a star or a solid starter in this league, because of what?
I would say Keely Ringo is more Morris Claiborne syndrome. How many times do I have to get burned by what a guy could be than what he is? D. Milner, I could do this for way longer than I'm.
That's the same draft, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
I think it was.
Oh, and then Morris Claiborne played for the Jets. He was actually cut D. Milner to get Morris Claiborne. Sorry, I had flashbacks there. I just didn't need a reason to drink tonight, but I'm really glad I have
you got one.
Keely Ringo he's a Sasquatch. Yeah, I have seen some. I have seen some high side of him. It's all height, weight, speed. There's so many mental lapses. Bill, where's my check? On our YouTube comment said Keely Ringo is Joey Porter Jr. if his dad wasn't Joey Porter. I don't know that I could disagree with anything anybody's ever said more than that. If Keely Ringo had Joey Porter Jr.'s heart, he'd be a top 5 pick. He doesn't, under any circumstances. And that was playing at a school that won back-to-back national titles.
Right.
And there were still times that I looked at him and went, how many places would you rather be than where you are right now?
Right.
Yeah, it's all motor. I mean, in terms of, there is no physical limitation for him. The problem with Keely Ringo is that guys that work in the league are people that's like me that have been really locked into the draft, and they've done this for many years, and probably all of them have been burned at some point by a corner or a wide receiver, just like Keely Ringo, where you look at him and go, you have every intangible. You got perfect size, perfect length, perfect speed, but your tape is awful. We'll do it anyway. Oh, yeah, that heart and that drive and that ability to play, technique, it's all really important because when you get to the NFL, everybody's as physically gifted as you are.
All right, back-to-back picks for Jeremy here.
Well, there are so many guys I want to take here that it's just I told you I was going to do it. So Joey Porter Jr. He has fallen to such a point. I don't know exactly when this happened, but it's happened sometime in the last week. The complete order of cornerbacks flipped. I told you from the jump we had 3. There are 3 that are top 20 guys, and there are still 3 that are top 20 guys. The only difference is now, pretty universally, Devin Witherspoon is the 1, Christian Gonzalez is the 2, Joey Porter is the 3. Let's play a fun game. There is a betting prop of you can wager on a guy to go in the top 10.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a name. You tell me what you think the line is right now. And this is from DraftKings Sportsbook.
To go in the top 10.
Yep.
Okay.
Devin Witherspoon.
Oh, minus 150.
Minus 425.
Whoa.
Means you have to wager $425 to make 100.
So he's definitely going in the top 10.
Yes. Christian Gonzalez.
Minus 400.
Minus 250. Where's Joey Porter?
Plus 500.
Add 1,000 to it and you're right. He's plus 1,500.
Wow.
I'm telling you, the betting market is where the rubber meets you. Yeah, here's the problem. You think he's going to fall to 19.
He might.
There's a little team that picks in front of you that his dad might have played for that I don't necessarily think he's going to fall past. That's also exactly where the number
We'll
is.
trade you Baker Mayfield to get up to 17. How about that? I don't want him. Don't need him. Get rid of him.
And here's the thing. They didn't ask you.
I know they didn't.
This is a valuable lesson that I had to learn over 25 years of Jet fan sadness. They didn't ask you. They don't care what you think. They have their own opinions, and they're completely independent of yours.
Indeed.
I took the quarterbacks not named Bryce Young earlier.
Yep.
There's one exception to that.
Okay.
It's Hendon Hooker. I don't know who is going to take him in the first round. He is in the top 12 of most likely guys to go in the top 10. Now, do I think there's any possibility of that? No, I don't. In the A-plus mock drafts, I had Houston taking Will Anderson at 2 and trading up with Philadelphia to get to that last pick where you get the fifth-year option and taking him at the end of the first round. Because Houston is making it very clear they do not really prioritize quarterback. And that's from the top of the front office down.
Mm-hmm.
Not surprisingly enough, virtually the entire front office came from New England. That's how you wound up with. I'm not here to take shots at New England. I'm in a good mood today. Hendon Hooker has made quite a bit of money in this process.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of teams that really like him.
And you can understand the between the ears.
Oh,
he
no
had
doubt.
A hell of a season.
He's
at Tennessee.
insanely bright.
Mm-hmm.
There's one big, and I feel like people think I just don't like him. That's not it. I think he will be the 4th oldest quarterback drafted in the first round ever. And I'll go ahead and tell you, was not a Pro Bowl roster in front of him. Whole lot of Brandon Weeden.
Yep.
There's one, Chad Pennington that has a spot right here in my heart. But he was actually a little younger than Hendon Hooker.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to go higher than we think. I just don't know where.
All right, final pick, stock up, stock down for the draft. This is a guy who last year, even year before, when you looked ahead to this draft class, this guy was supposed to be top 5 pick. He has now disappeared almost Keyshawn Booty style from the entire process almost. It's Eli Ricks.
Oh, yeah.
The cornerback out of Alabama, who was supposed to be generational talent, like next big thing, and
yeah, the problem with him is that you put on his tape at Alabama, and it's an assault on your eyeballs. And you go, that's what he gave Nick Saban. What exactly do you think he's going to give us? Yeah, he's fallen off the world. I'll be honest with you. He's almost got – Eli Ricks is – the Keyshawn Booty analogy is very apt.
Mm-hmm.
He has almost gotten to a point that when I start doing cornerback things and going through the different mocks and the things that we do, I'll see his name and just go, oh, yeah. That was fun. That didn't last very long, but it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah. There are some other ones that you could have mentioned in this process. I mean, obviously, Jalen Carter, we all know the story with him and the fact that he's fallen in the process.
Ooh, of all the players on the board, of which Bryce Young is not on the board, he and C.J. Stroud, I think, are the only two I see that are not on the board. And Will Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 3. How many players have better odds to go in the top 25 or in the top 10 than Jalen Carter?
2.
It's 0.
0.
He's minus 2,500 to go in the top 10.
As he should. I think the talent warrants it. You just hopefully find that the culture.
Well, where he got pushed down there were a couple teams, largely the Raiders, who they did meet with him, but everything I've been told is he's not on the board.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Philadelphia sitting at 10. He's not getting past that.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that they won't move up to get him.
Also thought about Noah Sewell in this.
Yeah, he has not had a great process, and he did not have a great year. So he would be a stock down from last year.
Yep. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Take a quick break. When we come back, it'll be time for the most important message of the day.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Beautiful weather continues here in the Carolinas with low humidity again tonight and temps in the low to mid 40s. We do warm things up with south winds returning to Asheville midweek. 81 degrees tomorrow, 81 on Thursday, and close to 80 on Friday. Our next front coming in Saturday. Some half-inch rains on Saturday and a high near 60 degrees, cooler Saturday night, Sunday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 240 eastbound slow between exit 3 and exit 4A. Future 26 eastbound crawling between Riverside Drive and 240. Future 26 westbound stop and go between 240 and Broadway Street. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Sardis Road northbound stop and go between Bavard Road and Sand Hill Road. Hendersonville Road southbound slow between Biltmore Forest and Overlook Road. Sweeten Creek Road southbound slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. Near Avery Creek, Bavard Road north and southbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. North Asheville, Merriman Avenue north and southbound near Edgewood Road is slow. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples has everything you need to travel, from passport photos to luggage. And now get 20% off your in-store purchase when you buy any travel service. Plus, travel-size Purell hand sanitizer is just 49 cents. In-store only. Offer ends 4/22. Exclusions apply. Get all set to jet at Staples.
2 NBA insiders podcasting twice a week to plug you right into the NBA grapevine.
All happening in only one place. This League Uncut. The new NBA podcast with me, Chris Haynes.
And me, Mark Stein.
Join us as we team up to expound on everything we're covering, hearing, and chasing.
Listen to This League Uncut with Chris Haynes and Mark Stein
on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better? or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is the Sportsocracy, and it's that time, ladies and gentlemen, for the most important message of the day.
Don't do crimes!
And let's go to, Charlotte. Why not?
Oh, this one's close.
We'll keep it in the state here because over the weekend, there was a young man who got himself into a little bit of a tight situation, if you will, at the Thrill Zone at Carowinds Amusement Park in Charlotte. Over the weekend, Carowinds medical response team had to be called in because the 13-year-old boy got himself stuck inside the claw machine in the Thrill Zone. So he goes to one of these carnival games with the little claw that comes down and grabs the stuffed bears or whatever. And he thought it'd be a good idea, well, to just, steal one. Well, how do you do that? Well, this obviously very tiny kid got inside the machine, and then he could not get back out. Like, my first question is, you're 13 years old. Have you not seen Toy Story? Did you not take any tips from that? Once you go in the machine, the only way to get out is through the little hole in the back. Woody and Buzz taught us that. Come on, kid. He suffered apparently minor injuries, I guess cuts and scrapes, trying to squeeze his way back through the door. They didn't say they took the machine apart to get him out. It was just, they arrived on the scene. Kid was freed. They saw to it that his scrapes and cuts were bandaged up, and then nothing after that. Like, this kid doesn't even get banned from the park or whatever. He's not being charged with a crime, even though attempted theft would. I mean, is that a crime? Is that something that we could charge people with? Attempted theft?
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. You don't have to succeed in stealing something for it to be a crime.
Of course, all in all, I don't want to seem crass. I mean, he is a 13-year-old boy, and, well, just do better. It's a life lesson learned.
My story is from North Bend, Ohio, and a man named Nathaniel K. Cipriani. He's a 28-year-old man. He was sitting, actually, in a Dodge Charger. Don't know what it was about him that made police suspect. They ran his license plate. License plate came back to a Honda, which is not the make of a Dodge Charger. So, of course, they go up to him. Hey, what's going on here? As they search the vehicle, they find several crimes. A little methamphetamine, a little heroin, a few other things, a few other eens that you're not supposed to have that Mr. Cipriani did. Well, they take him to jail. They book him, process him for all of those things. They go back to the gas station because he was sitting outside of a gas station in this car. The attendant behind the counter said, did you by any chance check his arse? Because he was seen shoving something into the back of his pants.
Oh.
So they go check the video from when he was put in the cell. A lot of people don't know this. There are cameras in cell blocks in jails. Apparently, he didn't know this either because there was one pointing at the door of his particular cell. And when he gets in there, you see him, we'll put it nicely here and say, rooting around, trying to find something. He locates it. He hides it in behind the toilet in his cell.
Okay.
So, of course, they pay him a little visit, search him, find it, charge him again. I have no idea how this is two separate charges, but it is.
Nice.
And according to the I don't know if this is the sheriff or just a spokesman for the sheriff's department, they said if he had been upfront and honest with it, we would have just put it all into one charge. When he went to these great lengths to try to hold on to something, we felt we had to charge him again.
Right. Again, valuable life lesson learned.
For me, there's no less than 4 valuable life lessons learned there, and several of them are things that I cannot discuss on this show. So we should probably just go ahead and move right along.
It is the Sportsocracy, and it's time again to talk about the draft needs ahead of this year's draft coming up next Thursday. 9 days away. Again, every pick covered live here in the Sportsocracy on YouTube.
And then Jeremy gets to make that fun disappearing act that Mel Kiper does. You see our faces a billion times between March and May. And then, we disappear.
Shupasha?
Because I'm getting married third week in May, and let's just be real honest here. A lot of work to do, and I haven't really carried my water here because of the draft.
Indeed, there is. Time for another team draft needs, though. And let's talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Go ahead and do it. He's got to do the kitty sound.
Well, there's only the Lions are the only team I don't do that with. You make a kitty your mascot. I mean, I can sit here and look at it.
Jacksonville Jaguars, though, this is a team on the rise. We've got them, inside the top 6, I think, in the power
we had them
rankings?
at 8. Yeah. And look, this roster's really good. And they're another one. They're in kind of the same boat as Cincinnati. What is the big, outrageous weakness on this team? Now, before you answer that they have not addressed with a young guy. Like, yeah, they need an edge. You just took Trayvon Walker at 1.
Mm-hmm.
All right. His name just went right out of my head. Devin Lloyd. Things didn't necessarily go great for him as the season went on. You remember after a month, we were like, he's going to be the rookie of the year.
Yep.
He heard you. But you're going to give him time to grow. Where on this team do you look at a big, glaring need? Because for me, there's 2.
Safety?
I could go with safety.
I'm not a big fan of Andre Cisco.
You should be. He's really good. It's the
really?
other one you should be worried about. I'm not a big fan of Rayshon Jenkins, but I love Andre Cisco and have since he was at Syracuse. I'm looking at center and guard.
Okay.
Which is why, for me, if I'm the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I know their fans are not going to love this because you want something sexy and you want something splashy, Osiris Torrance played like right in your backyard. He fixes a whole mess of this for you. I don't see how you let him get by you, and they're gonna. They're gonna do it. I just don't know why. Because would you not walk away from that and go, oh, you're better running the ball now?
Yeah.
Add a second running back behind ETN to replace James Robinson later in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't have to play Ben Barch. That should make Luke Fortner better if Brandon Sheriff can stay healthy this year. Now you're looking at that offense going, woo, that's evil. And then you can just add playmakers from there. I know they want a corner. Darius Williams is one of the great anomalies I think I've ever seen. He's a little guy that plays better on the outside than in the slot. I don't necessarily think that's who he is. I just think it's how it's worked. Because he was the one to pick on. I don't think he's better in the slot. Now, he could be. I could just be completely – maybe it's just locked in my brain that he's so little that he shouldn't be playing on the outside. Stats don't care about your feelings, and it very clearly shows that he's better on the outside than he is inside. I know they want a corner. I have been told they are one of the only teams that's really enamored with Keely Ringo.
Which is not something you should be pulling the trigger on at 24. But maybe in the second round.
He would be a second-round pick, for sure.
Mm-hmm. The Jaguars have the 15th most capital, or total value, I guess, in this draft. With the pick at 24, they've got at least one in every round, 2 in the 4th. They got 2 in the 6th to deal with as well. When you have a quarterback, and to me that's where this all hinges. This all hinged on Trevor Lawrence making the step with Doug Peterson. If that had not happened, we would probably still have a lot of questions about this team. But once Trevor started to show that elite capability that we all thought he had coming out of Clemson, this is when the rubber meets the road for this team.
Oh, no, I mean, look, this team is incredibly talented. I just feel like, and I've said this about, it's funny, I say this about teams that pick after 20 because they made the playoffs, and there's a reason these teams make the playoffs. Because there is nothing, you don't have a huge gaping hole. You've drafted well, you've placed all these pieces around the team. There's no just grand liability. Now, I think guard is a liability for them. And it really bore itself out with how the line played. And I've said this before, analytically, they were one of the best pass pro units in the league. They were dead last as a run-blocking unit. So for me, if I can add that big, hulking pull guard, that ties a lot of things together. And then from there, I can just take best players available. Yeah, I do want to add a corner over the course of this. I would like to add a developmental tackle because I'm going to say I've never liked Cam Robinson all that much. I like Walker Little on the right side, so I think you're okay there, but I feel like if one of the tackles fell, I wouldn't be shocked if they did that. In our YouTube chat, Satisfied Browns fan said Luke Fortner wasn't good. He wasn't last year, but that doesn't really mean much because his skill set did not really play into what Jacksonville was doing. And he was bereft of talent around him. So I think he will improve this year. He's a guy I liked last year coming out of Kentucky. So I'm not running out to take John Michael Schmitz or one of those guys at center. I would rather have the guard. Also like to add somebody on the interior just because the interior of their defense doesn't do a ton for me. It's fine, but.
And then you should do that thing that the Philadelphia Eagles have been doing. Take young players at positions where they will not necessarily be needed right away, but later on. I can see this team taking another wide receiver later in the draft. I could see them taking a tight end to replace Evan Ingram after the 1-year deal is up. Those are just a couple of places that I would look for them to add depth later on in the draft. Maybe those 2 fourth-round picks.
Oh, I would agree with that. I mean, you just have to – if you're Jacksonville, you have to really optimize this time that you have Trevor Lawrence on a rookie deal. Because, look, we talked about this yesterday with Burrow and Herbert and Lamar Jackson. Trevor's not that far down the line.
No.
I mean, we're seeing these are being done at least a year early. So that would put him next year.
Yeah.
And you're going to lock him in.
Of course you
for
are.
whatever he wants. And the bad thing for Jacksonville, they're at the mercy of what all of the rest of them do. Because they'll all be locked in before they can even talk to him about this. So he could be the first deal that you go, oh, good gracious. Hey, Trevor Lawrence got $700 million. I
was going to say, how fast does it hit 70?
Oh, it won't take long. At the way the salary cap's escalating, that won't take – I wouldn't be shocked if it happened with Trevor.
Yeah.
That's probably a bit too much of a jump.
I would imagine.
But it's certainly there. Look, Jacksonville's in great shape. They're in great shape.
When Bryce Young comes up for his contract with Carolina, that'll be 70.
It very well could be.
You are in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 240 eastbound between exit 3 and exit 4A. Future 26 westbound, 40 to just west of Broadway Street. Future 26 eastbound stop and go between Riverside Drive and 240. 26 westbound slow west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Sardis Road northbound stop and go between Bavard Road and Sand Hill Road. In North Asheville, Merriman Avenue north and southbound stop and go approaching Edgewood Road. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road southbound slow between Biltmore Forest and Overlook Road. Near Avery Creek, Bavard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. I'm Lynn Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by GetRefunds.com.
I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. If you own a business and still haven't applied for the payroll tax refund, we want to pay a licensed tax attorney to see if you're eligible to receive up to $26,000 per employee. Go to GetRefunds.com, GetRefunds.com.
Dr. Rick here. Another sign you're becoming your parents is getting particular about details that don't matter.
The craziest thing happened when we got tacos the other day. Was it Wednesday or Thursday we got tacos? I know it wasn't Tuesday because that's when I went to my hairdresser. Shoot, what day was it?
See how we all lost interest there?
Progressive can't help you from becoming your parents, but we can help you compare rates on home insurance with Home Quote Explorer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Only iHeartRadio gives you access to all of your favorite radio stations.
It's Elliot in the morning. Rod Ryan Show. Check it in.
It's
The Woody Show.
All of the once-in-a-lifetime events.
The 2023 iHeartRadio Music Awards.
All of the best free curated playlists.
All the rock for all the people.
All of the great podcasts for every interest.
This is Freddie Prinze Jr. from the Wrestling with Freddie podcast.
All of the mind-blowing contests.
$20,000.
Awesome. All of your favorite superstars.
It's Pete from Fall Out Boy.
Best of all, it doesn't cost a thing. Download the absolutely free iHeartRadio app now.
Have your outdoors and running water, too. With Luxury Loo, the tasteful solution to portable bathroom rentals. Family-owned and local, Luxury Loo Rental provides modern bathrooms on the go with running water, AC and heating, flushable toilets, and elegant designs. Luxury Loos are perfect for weddings, corporate events, remodels, and more. Don't leave your well-dressed guests to use a dirty porta-potty john.
Ew.
Turn to Asheville natives. Luxury Loo. Visit LuxuryLoosRental.com.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
The siren song of the sea beckons with a bounteous treasure and a desire that must be fulfilled.
At Ingles, our extensive seafood department offers a huge variety from your local catch to flavors from around the world. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
The Sportsocracy.
You are a regular nuclear meltdown. You better cool off.
Final moments of the program here on a Tuesday afternoon. Just a programming note, we will not be with you tomorrow afternoon. We've got Braves baseball taking the air here on ESPN Asheville at 3:55 tomorrow. So we will not be with you, but we'll be back with you on Thursday here in the Sportsocracy.
There's no laws in this place. Anything goes. It's Thunderdome.
We've also got a new member of the House of Reprehensibles, Kevin the Elder God. Welcome in. We have cake. We also have a story that is now getting some traction from The Athletic. that if Joe Mixon doesn't take a pay cut from the Cincinnati Bengals, he's going to be released. Okay, two things about this story.
Okay.
One, it's been out there for about 2 weeks. It's just, I don't know why it's just hitting the mainstream now. I also don't know how much credence to give this. If Cincinnati takes Jahmyr Gibbs, see you, Joe Mixon.
Right.
If you miss on him, what exactly are you going to do? Are you going to go barking up the Ezekiel Elliott path?
Dalvin Cook.
So you're going to take one running back that's paid for another one. And this one has way bigger injury issues than Joe Mixon does. I don't buy it. It doesn't pass the smell test. Now, could there be depending on what we do, yeah, absolutely. But that applies to probably 90% of the players in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you this definitively. Joe Mixon's off-field antics are wearing really thin with Cincinnati. You got to remember, Cincinnati had a well-earned reputation for off-the-field issues years ago.
Yes.
They have no desire to go back to that. So the fact he was arrested for pointing a gun at somebody at a gas station, there was the other weird incident that had something to do with his sister where a kid got shot at outside of his house.
Mm-hmm.
That has worn really thin in Cincinnati.
And this is a guy who's due over $18 million over the next 2 years in just base pay.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which is straight savings if you release him.
Right. They want him to take a pay cut. I think this is true. I think this is true. They are ready to move on.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not true. I'm saying it's true depending. And I'm also saying that if Cincinnati's sitting there at 28 and I don't know, you get to 20 and the Seattle Seahawks, who just love to trade down in the first round. Bijan Robinson's still sitting there. Don't be surprised if there's some marriage there because it would make a lot of sense. Bijan Robinson's a better running back than Joe Mixon right now. And then Joe Mixon would be another in a long line of running backs that are sitting in the unemployment line just waiting on somebody to call.
And I feel like he would get calls pretty quickly, don't you?
I can't tell you he won't get calls. I'm not sure how long it would take for him to wrap his head around where the running back market is. I mean, and that's not a shot at him in any way. That's a hard pill to swallow. I've been this good in this league, and now I'm a $5 million 1 year prove it deal. I think Ezekiel Elliott has had this just gigantic dose of reality. And now I'm not comparing those two. Joe Mixon's a way better running back right now than Zeke is. But, I mean, nobody's getting big money at running back. I've said this on this show before. If I had a son, there is no shot you're playing running back. It's the toughest position on your body for the smallest yield when you get to the league.
It makes all the sense in the world that Cincinnati is looking to cut costs wherever they can because they got 3 major contracts that they want to get done.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Burrow and both of the receivers, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase.
I mean, it makes sense. It's just, to me, it is completely the caveat of, do we find somebody to replace him? Good thing is there's 2 first-round graded running backs in this class. And I won't be shocked if Cincinnati walks away with one of them.
Yep. Hopefully you can get them where you sit. If not, maybe you could trade up.
Well, you're not getting Bijan where you sit, but Jahmyr Gibbs might fall to you. I don't see anybody that's really risky to take him in front of them. But if you want Bijan, you're going to have to go get him.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. Again, we will not be with you tomorrow afternoon due to Braves baseball. We will be back with you at 3 o'clock on Thursday, where we will feature the James Conner team. These are all the guys that Jeremy hates, as opposed to the ones that he loves. We'll see you then.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Beautiful weather continues here in the Carolinas with low humidity again tonight and temps in the low to mid 40s. We do warm things up with south winds returning to Asheville midweek. 81 degrees tomorrow, 81 on Thursday, close to 80 on Friday. Our next front coming in Saturday. Some half-inch rains on Saturday and a high near 60 degrees, cooler Saturday night, Sunday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 240 eastbound between exit 3 and exit 4A. Future 26 westbound slowing near Broadway Street. Future 26 eastbound slow between Riverside Drive and 240. 26 westbound slow west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. In North Asheville, Merriman Avenue north and southbound near Edgewood Road. Traffic is stop and go. Hendersonville Road southbound slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Overlook Road. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Northern Tool and Equipment. Whether you are spraying down the shop or getting winter's grime off your own home,